Grand Theft Auto 4. GTA 4 was a departure from the arcadey feel of the 3D era in favor of a grittier, more serious take on the series, evidently seen in its beautifully written characters, detailed world design, and the extreme graphical and technological leap from renderware to the flashy new game engine Rage, placing heavy emphasis on physics-based gameplay, introducing some of the best ragdolls of all time. To begin, we start on a cargo ship named the Platypus, following protagonist Nico, who hopes to leave his previous life behind and chase the American dream alongside his self-made multi-millionaire cousin Roman. During the intro, we see people loading stuff into a car and diamonds being baked into a cake. This may be unimportant now, but just remember this for later. Disembarking the boat, a stone-sober Roman pulls up, blasting music, yelling and screaming, elated he's finally seeing his cousin after years apart. To calm Roman down, Nico says they should go to the mansion, huh? So they enter the car. On the journey, they pass by Roman's cab depot, then arrive at the mansion, which is actually a rundown apartment with some, interesting imagery on the walls, leading Nico to realize all that Roman had said over these emails was a bunch of bullshit. Particularly disappointed about there being no Nico begins to have a heart-to-heart with Roman about his grueling life over the last decade, recounting his time serving in the Yugoslav wars.
Are you sleeping, you fat fuck? Come on!
Roman says he has to take the cab back to the depot and tells Nico to meet him there. Walking out of the apartment and onto the street, there's a hot dog stand, so of course I go and get one. After purchasing, the owner tells me that I'm today's 100th customer, which means I've won the white car across the road. Getting in my newly won car, I drive over to the cab depot and am introduced to Roman's girlfriend, Mallory, and his loan shark Vlad. He prods Roman to pay off his debts while seducing his girlfriend. Leaving the depot, Roman conducts a master plan to get all his debts paid off. Gambling! The exact same thing that put him in this situation to begin with. Stopping outside some dinky hardware store, Roman gets out and hands Nico his old phone, asking to be called of something, and heads around the back to begin stacking banknotes. Waiting, and waiting, and waiting. They finally show up, so I ring Roman, and he comes running out. As we are leaving, Roman says injuring them will cause the debt to increase, so I crash straight into the loan sharks, failing the mission.
What you doing? Now we're going to be in real trouble!
Heading back over to the gambling den, dropping Roman off, then waiting another 6 years, loan sharks arrive, and out comes Roman, so we zip away back to the depot, leaving our pursuers in the dust. So Roman didn't just lie about being a multi-millionaire, he's actually the complete opposite end of the spectrum, being dead broke with a crippling gambling addiction. After dropping Roman off, I take a mosey about the city, talking to some of the city's residents, and taking in the sights. Outside Roman's depot, I meet the nicest, most humble man in the city, who is off his face on cocaine. He happily hands me $100 for no reason and takes off down the street. The people in the city are so nice. Just like Darden and Blair, the loan sharks from earlier, they begin breaking Roman's stuff and putting a blade to his neck. In comes Nico, who immediately breaks Darden's arm to avenge the smashed computer, causing the Albanians to flee. Roman wallows in his reality for a moment before a phone call comes through. It's Mallory. She's at the train station with a friend named Michelle, asking if she can be picked up, and of course he obliges. He asked Nico to drive around and pick them up. At the station, Mallory and Michelle get in the car, and right off the bat, Mallory begins to set Nico up with Michelle, leading to her asking Nico to call her sometime. Look how happy Nico is. He can't wait one bit. Headed back, Nico calls his cousin about what just happened, prompting Roman to mention getting some new threads. Parking up outside the clothing store and swagging up, I go for a leisurely stroll about, finding a gun in a mini golf course, inventing a secret handshake with a new friend, getting a date invitation from Michelle, then coming past a belligerent man who begins shouting and cussing out Nico. What are you looking at, cunt? Fucking what, mate? Us! Oh, you gonna pull a knife on me, huh? Yeah, you fuck. Take that. Give me that shit, you pussy. Fucking us. Hey, that's my mate. Oh, you want some too then? Yeah, I'll fuck you up. You know what? Fuck this knife shit. Driving over for my hot date, I get an urgent call from Roman, saying he's been cornered by the loan sharks at the basketball courts behind the subway station, and pleads I show up to help him. Speeding over to the spot, I find Kalem and Bleda beating up Roman as revenge for Nico breaking Darden's arm. They try to calm things down with Nico, telling him to butt out as it has nothing to do with him, which he obviously doesn't oblige. Airballing a plastic cup, then mollywhopping Bleda, over comes Karem, who gets quickly Swiss cheesed. Helping Roman up, he spots Darden looking from a distance outside the courts, causing him to bolt for his car, speeding away, making Chase, who follow him all the way to the sugar factory, where Darden tries to calm Nico down with some sweet treats, which obviously doesn't work. Dropping Roman back at the depot, I meet with Michelle to begin our date. Off the bat, Nico spots how new everything is in her apartment. Almost like she's a government plant who's been staged there to learn about the growing crime wave within Liberty City. Nah, she couldn't be after all. She's Mallory's friend. She would never introduce Nico to a Fed. Nico suggests they go to a bowling alley, so they get in her car and turn up for some bowling. Being the gentleman that Nico is, he absolutely steamrolls Michelle, not allowing her to get even close, winning by nearly 3 times the points. After the romantic bowling session, Nico goes for a slow cruise about the city, then drops Michelle back at her apartment. At the safe house, Nico indulges in some American television.
Accidental gun discharge. And narcotics violations.
Slaps his hat on, then goes to the depot to find Vlad chatting up Mallory, who demands he make him a coffee, causing Nico to give him a weird look. In comes Roman, excited to see his cousin, and less excited to see his loan shark, who demands repayment. Roman lets it slip about how Nico dealt with the Albanians, leading to Vlad proposing work until the debt is repaid, then leaving. Soon after, Roman gets a call from his regular, Jermaine, asking for a pickup, so he tells Nico to do it. Picking up Jermaine, he asks to be taken over to his lockup on Masterson Street to collect some hot parts. At the storage units, it's a police setup, and in come multiple police cars, so I speed away from the police, losing them very quickly, then dropping off Jermaine outside a chop shop. Back at the depot, the phones are ringing off the hook, with plenty of complimentary fan calls for Roman, telling him what an amazing person he is.
No, Mr. Belik is stepped away from his office. Can I take a message? Okay, great. No, I'm not gay. Yes, I'll tell him.
Nico asks if he can help, so Roman lets him know about a friend of his named Little Jacob, a Jamaican man who likes to smoke a bit, who needs a pickup. At the park, I give a honk and over he comes, taking the longest possible route over to the car. Straight away, Jacob makes it apparent this isn't just a normal pickup, asking if I can handle myself, then providing me with a pistol. We stop off at a back alley where Nico posts up on a ledge, then we wait for Jacob's friends to show up. They arrive and begin shooting, where they are quickly dispatched. Out comes the last enemy, so Nico kindly hands him a bottle filled with gasoline, and because it was a bit hot that day, it caused him to catch fire, burning to death. Dropping Jacob at the cafe, I get a call from Vlad, who tells me to come over to the Comrades bar for some work, but I'd rather have something to eat, so I head over to a hot dog stand and wait. The guy in front of me begins procrastinating between onions or getting ketchup, so I had to motivate him to speed up. Unknown to me, but he's actually next in line for the throne of Uzbekistan, and his security detail immediately pounce on me. With no other option, I decide to take the easy way out instead of facing 1,000 years of brutal torture in a dark dungeon. Arriving at the bar, Vlad's inside. He's been having issues with an old man who owns a fine china store. He made the mistake of telling Vlad how much money he really makes from selling his stuff, maximizing his profits by hiking the prices up as much as possible. He wants me to go over and smash up the store to convince the man to buy back into his protection scheme. Taking a cab over, Nico meets the business owner at the door, yelling to him that he owes Vlad protection money, causing the man to shrug him off, so I'm left with no other choice but to smash it up. However, Vlad left out a crucial detail. With all the profits the china shop has been taking in, the business owner decided to encase the entire building in a thick tungsten layer, making it invulnerable to car collisions, fire, and making objects vanish from potential vandalizers' hands just before they can be thrown at the windows. Coming to my senses, I pull out my gun and shoot the window, causing it to shatter, making the man finally cave in, handing over the protection money, so I drop it back to Vlad at the bar. Right as I'm about to start the next job, I get a call from Roman, asking if I'd like to play some darts, and of course I say yes, picking him up outside the pornography store. Real classy. We drive over, parking up a block away from the place, deciding to walk over. On the short walk, we come across a group of thugs who begin attacking us for no reason, so Nico beats up one of them with ease, whilst Roman, intending to get a better view, stands in the middle of the fight, taking blows from everywhere, causing Nico to channel his inner Neo, slipping a punch and countering with the double ball buster combo, ending the fight. Walking across the street and into the bar, I absolutely decimate Roman at darts. In fact, I beat him so bad that the police arrive, saying there's been an assault, acting as if there's 2 people across the street knocked out cold. In this neighborhood? No, never. Walking out the front, a kind man gives us his car, using it to drop Roman off back at the depot. Since we never got any food, I decide to go get a hot dog for the extortionist-like price of $5, but it wasn't filling enough. So I walked across the road to the diner, getting a hamburger for only $1. After thinking about it for a bit, I decide to convince the hot dog vendor to reevaluate his pricing. Back at Comrades, Vlad's on the phone with Mallory. Why would they even be talking? Isn't she supposed to be Roman's girlfriend? Anyway, Vlad this time wants me to go to the laundromat one of his debtors own, around the corner from the bar, and finally make him pay up. Works perfectly for me because I have some clothes that need to be cleaned. Once I'm there, the owner runs through the back door, so I leave my stuff with the lady at the front desk and head outside. He's hopped in a van and has started speeding away. Lucky for me, there's a car to my right with the keys sitting on the roof, so I use them to get into the car. Following him around and smashing into his car makes him stop. He finally sees the error of his ways, agreeing to pay up. Back to Vlad for another job, so we go for a walk to his car. Strolling over, he asks people how their days are going, patiently waits for passing traffic, and even gives money to the homeless. Getting into his car, he does some nose candy, then instructs Nico to go steal a car from one of his outstanding debtors as repayment. Nico asks to be driven over, so Vlad points him over to the subway instead. Walking up to the platform, in comes a train, taking me over to the other side of the city, right where the debtor is.
You that fat Russians, bitch? Just try and take.
Driving back to the lockup, Nico lets Vlad know that the car he's got is dirty, so in the nicest way possible, Vlad tells him what to do.
Dirty? I can't sell a dirty car. I know you cousins like them dirty. Maybe your whole yokel family drives around in a dirty car, but it's not the way over here. Fucking peasants don't do nothing right.
Cleaning up the car and making it look in tip-top condition, I drop it at Vlad's lockup. Calling Vlad and letting him know the job's all done, I walk across the road to the laundromat to collect the clothing I dropped off earlier. The lady at the desk said she took them outside and lit them on fire, which didn't go down well with Nico.
The last person I punched was an 18-yard hop. If it is a... You still tough? Motherfucker!
Still enraged, running down the street, Nico beats up another man, causing the police to get involved. After the scuffle, he escapes through a back alley and runs across the road back to his safe house. Leaving the safe house, I run down to the clothes store to freshen up. While browsing, I get a call from Jacob, telling me to come over for some work.
Yo, Nico, wagwan.
Once finishing up and going outside, I walk around the corner and see a wasp harassing someone, so I spot it off him. Only for his friend to come over, claiming the exact same problem, so I douse him with bug repellent, saving him from the wasps. After my heroics, I go to the diner just outside the apartment. Once inside, they ask me if I want to make a quick buck, so of course I say yes. They want me to throw bottles of sauces to people outside to advertise their business. Heading outside with mustard in hand, there's a group of policemen, so I toss it to them. Waking up at the hospital, I head over to Little Jacob's for a job. Nico buzzes the intercom and out comes Jacob, speaking his lingo, asking how Roman is, and somehow Nico understands every single word despite hardly knowing English. Jacob goes on to mention Badman is looking to buy some product from a new source, so they can hustle it off on their own street corners, asking Nico to watch over the deal in case things go sour. Driving to the spot and dropping Jacob off, he asks Nico to wait in the alleyway behind the building the deal is happening in. Parking up and waiting a short while, Jacob rings, saying the dealers came empty-handed and have bolted out the back door. Out they come, so I flatten 2 of them with my car and shoot another dead. Picking up Jacob from the front, we head over to the people who set up the deal, where we come across Little Jacob's biggest enemy, the stairs. He tries and tries, but no matter the effort, he can never get to the top, dying on the steps. Going back again, a guy mean mugs me as we're heading back to the meet, so I chase him down on foot and kick his ass, causing the police to come over. Getting in the guy's car and waiting for Jacob to get in, he gets hit by a car on the other side of the road, leading to me being arrested. At the police department, I take my anger out on the local street vendor. Unaware to me, he was bribing the cops to act as his protection detail, so they show up and shoot me dead. I'm declaring war on all street vendors. They are all getting smoked. Back for round 2, and I absolutely dog walk the vendor. Once again at Jacob's, this time we decide to walk to the deal. On our way over, Jacob jaywalks across the street, which draws the attention of the police, so they shoot him dead. Once again we take out the dealers, head back to the den and actually get up the stairs. Jacob kicks in the door so the dealers inside begin shooting. As a show of strength, Nico walks in and begins eating buckshot to the face without even blinking. Once the guy runs out of shells, Nico runs in and takes down the dealers. Then drops Jacob back at the cafe. Jacob's car's a bit banged up, so Nico decides to do him a favor, taking it over to the mechanics for repairs. After sorting that out, Nico heads back to the apartment and sees the delightful man from a few days ago just nearby. Going over and saying hi, the guy's clearly going through it. He's very fidgety, even tearing at his skin. He tells Nico he has some money for him if he can give him a quick ride. Taking him over to some back alley, he walks to a group of aspiring young gentlemen who hand him the biggest crack rock on planet Earth. Driving him around the corner, he thanks Nico for his time, hands him some money, then takes off. At Comrades, there's no sign of Vlad, so Nico sits at the bar and asks for a glass of water.
Bang, bang, you are dead.
Vlad sits Nico down and lets him know that a guy named Ivan is going to rob Roman's cab depot. How does Vlad know Ivan's robbing the depot? Because he set it up himself, so Nico has justification for killing him. Making it to the depot, Ivan goes speeding away, so I make chase, following all the way to a construction site. He climbs onto a roof, then runs across the rooftop. Ivan slips off the building but grabs the ledge, narrowly saving himself. Given the choice between letting him fall or picking him up, of course I fucking kill him! What, you think I'm some kind of monster? I wouldn't kill this guy for that fat fuck. Helping up Ivan, Nico tells him to leave Hove Beach, so he thanks him for sparing his life. I leave the rooftop and ring Vlad, letting him know the job's done. And for some reason, Vlad tells Nico that he's been sleeping with Mallory. Driving back to the safe house, a meteor lands outside, instantly killing me. Then I wake up. Thankfully it was all just a dream. Grabbing a mug, I decide to go to the diner for some coffee. What the fuck? Maybe I'm not the only one waging war against the street vendors. Ditching the idea of coffee, I go over to see Roman at the depot. He's depressed after finding out Mallory's having an affair with Vlad. Nico tells him he already knew about it, so Roman jumps up and starts yelling at Nico for betraying his trust. To not be called a traitor, Nico decides to deal with Vlad himself, so he heads to Comrade's bar.
Про капусту. Зачем нужно жрать капусту, если есть картошка?
Nico tells Vlad to stay away from Mallory, so Vlad sicks his cronies on him and then hightails it out the back door. Giving the men in the bar a fair fight, I run out the back door to see Vlad speeding away, so me and Roman tail him down to the docks. He yells at Nico, saying that the Russian mob will come for his head. I remember that Vlad has a phobia of water and is unable to swim, so I push him into the river, causing him to drown. Dragging his body back up onto land, somehow he is covered in blood. Roman comes over, telling Nico he's made a huge mistake, so he tells a story from his days in the army. A 15-person squad, all people from his village. They were set up with only him and 2 others surviving. Nico deduced that one of those 2 people sought out the group and has spent the last 10 years of his life trying to avenge his fallen squad mates. Roman tells Nico he should let go of the grudge, then says they should hide Vlad's body, dumping it back into the river. What was even the point of pulling him out if they were just going to dump him back in? Speeding away from the dock, I give Roman a call. He asked me to meet him on the corner outside Perestroika. Roman's there, hiding inside a dumpster, the same dumpster I just smashed into. Roman's paranoid after Vlad's death, thinking the Russian mafia is after him, so he thought it'd be a great idea to hide outside one of their own hotspots. Nico tries to calm him down, saying nothing will happen to him, asking Roman to come out of the dumpster. Out of nowhere, Nico is knocked out cold by a stranger who demands Roman out of the dumpster at gunpoint. Being slapped awake, Nico finds himself tied up in a basement across from Roman. The same thug that kidnapped them begins interrogating Nico, trying to figure out who he is to no avail.
Shut the fuck up!
The boss comes down the stairs and asks Nico,
It's okay to kill my employees. If he is an asshole, yes.
So Faustin congratulates Andre for bringing in Nico. Vlad had all that talk about how tight he is with Faustin and how they do absolutely anything for him. But truthfully, they thought nothing of him. Faustin calls Vlad an idiot and said he only kept him around.
Because I fucked his sister.
Faustin asks Nico to locate a van carrying TVs in Bohan and to drop them off at their garage. Upon accepting, Nico asks if Roman can be untied, so they take out his gag. And what does Roman do? He begins screaming, so Faustin shoots Roman to silence him. Nico jumps up to check on his cousin, but is ushered out by Dimitri, saying he'll sort him out. Walking down the street, a police car pulls up and out comes the cop running into a backyard for no reason, so I take his car, using it to pull over the vans. Pulling over two carrying nothing, I come across a third that has the TVs I'm after. Out the occupants come, with one brandishing a firearm, so I blow his head swoof off and get in the van, dropping it at the lockup. Calling Dimitri and letting him know the job's done, he tells me he's patched up Roman and asks me to come by later for more work. Filling my car up at the servo, I walk down the street and get a call from Roman, who says he's fine and asks if I could pick up some adult diapers for him. Out of nowhere, some random strangers begin chasing me around trying to beat me up. A police officer comes to my aid, holding one of the men at gunpoint waiting for backup. What a job well done. But who is this guy? And where did he get that shotgun from? He blows the cop away, saving his comrade, so I speed off. At Faustin's, Dimitri answers the door and invites me inside. We walk into the lounge room and Faustin's inside partaking in some healthy recreational activities, doing lines of cocaine and drinking straight vodka, glass after glass. Seeing this, Dimitri asks him to calm down on the drugs. Being the mature adults they are, they begin bickering like children. Faustin does a complete 180, hugging Dimitri, saying he loves him. Dimitri tosses Faustin a bottle of painkillers, asking him to mellow out, so Faustin chases him out the door.
I said get out of my sight!
Taking Faustin's car, Dimitri tells Nico about a sex shop by the water that's been making mature videos, and they haven't been cutting in the Russians. Heading down into the sex shop and around the back, there's 3 people sitting down watching TV. Nico and Dimitri start asking them where the money is. They say they were going to cut them in later, but Dimitri doesn't believe. After shooting one of them in the leg, they fold, handing over the money. Leaving the shop, Dimitri takes Nico over to one of the underground gun stores dotted about the city, giving him money to buy a micro SMG. After buying it, I drop Dimitri back at Faustin's, completing the job. Being left with Faustin's car, I decide to go for a joyride about the city, crashing into cars, lampposts, and pedestrians, ending up at a Ron fuel storage facility. Climbing up a ladder to the top, I find a Desert Eagle sitting there, so I swap it with my Glock, then speed off.
I'm sorry, it's an ugly city.
Absolutely fucking up Mr. Faustin's car. I'm sure he'll be happy about that. Without a car, I run down the street to the train station. It takes me a whopping 100 meters before parking up and terminating, so I run up to the next platform to catch another train bound for Hove Beach. No wonder why no one takes trains. They're slow as fuck and they never take you where you want. I run out of the station and hail down a cab and get in the back. The cab driver tells me about a citywide baseball game that's going on in the area, so I ask him to take me over there. I walk over to one of the event's batters and ask him if he has a good swing, so he demonstrates it to me. Nico and Dimitri walk into Perestroika. Faustin's inside, with women on either arm, smiling from ear to ear. Dimitri says to him that the police have become aware of their recent activities by tapping their phones, finding out about the marijuana they stole. Faustin thinks there's a rat in his organization. He points the finger at a guy named Lenny that bought some coke off them not too long ago, and instructs Nico to kill him, much to the dismay of Dimitri. On the drive over, I give Dimitri a call and ask him if it's a good idea to kill this guy. He just says do what I have to do. Just before arriving, Nico calls Faustin one last time, making sure he's absolutely certain he wants me to kill this guy, and he doubles down, saying he's located up on the train platform. Running to the top, Lenny's there, and takes off running. Killing his associate, I follow him down to the car, where he attempts to speed away. Nico, being as strong as he is, grabs onto the door handle, preventing the car from driving away, then blows him away with a shotgun. Getting into his car, I begin heading back. I call Dimitri, letting him know about my success, so he fills me in about who the guy really is. He's the son of Kenny Petrovic, the boss of one of the biggest Russian crime syndicates in the entirety of America. Thanks, Faustin. I'll be lucky if I don't get my head chopped off for this. Seeing Roman at the depot, there's an extremely energetic, juiced up steroid head there doing whatever the fuck this is. Roman introduces Nico to Brucey, someone he met online, and tells Nico he should set up his email at the Twat Internet Cafe down the road so he can start receiving mail from himself and the rest of their family. At Twat, I talk to the receptionist who sets me up with a computer and activate my email. Roman calls, saying Brucey's looking for some particular vehicles, saying I should check my email sometime to see what he's after. While speaking to Roman, I spot a woman who drops her phone, so I pick it up, but when I try to return it to her, she runs. I chase her down the street, phone in hand. We come upon a hot dog stand where the vendor gives me a funny look, so I shoot him dead. Since I'm part of the Russian mafia now, I head over to the clothes store to make myself look the part. Once dressed, the police profile me, mistaking me for a criminal on account of my new threats. I never break the law.
I dropped this in the kitchen.
Running to Faustin's, he's inside setting the example of a model husband, verbally abusing his wife, drinking a glass of straight vodka, doing a line of cocaine, then pulling out a gun doing whatever this is. He shows Nico a picture of his daughter, then says she's been seeing a biker down at the carnival by Firefly Island. He wants me to find his daughter and waste the biker of his present. Once there, I see Faustin's daughter with the biker. Nico tells him to stay away from her. The biker replies saying he'll come back with his chapter and kick Nico's ass, then speeds away. Nico makes chase, shooting the biker dead before he has the chance to gather reinforcements. After killing the biker, I'm not far away from Little Jacob's, so I head over. Walking through the door, Nico's pounced on by Badman, pinning him to the floor with a box cutter to his neck. Jacob calls out, saying Nico's a friend, so Badman helps him to his feet and they head upstairs. Once in the room, Badman fills in Nico on what's going on.
My youth, some boy them dip on the corner and thing on. The boy them sell some things and thing on. I go on and I say, oh, them don't want to give me my money and thing on. Every corner my corner on. I want my money and thing, you know. I know so that I go in, I want to deal with the case proper. You know, see.
Jacob translates, explaining there's a group slinging drugs on Yardie corners and they aren't being cut in, so Badman wants Nico to tail the dealer back to their supplier and kill the lot of them. Once reaching Bohan, I spot the dealer and quietly follow him back to an apartment block. I walk up some stairs, then come across a guy wearing a bow tie with a fucking hoodie, so I had to lay him out on account of his style. I find the supplier's room and chuck a Molotov directly at my feet, which sets me on fire, leading to me burning to death. Driving all the way back over to Bohan again. I spook the dealer, causing him to run away. He throws boxes, narrowly dodges a car, and tosses a woman down a flight of stairs, trying to escape Nico. He runs into the supplier's room, so Nico shoots the lock off the door and heads inside, wasting all three of them.
Let's have some fun.
Back in Jukes, Nico goes dumpster diving, but there was nothing to be found, so he heads over to the biggest dump in Liberty City for a bite to eat. Cluckenbell. It's Cluckenbell, motherfucker! What can I get you? Can I just get a foul burger? Thank you. What the fuck? This thing tastes like shit! What'd you just say? I said it tastes like shit. Come say that to my face then. Oh yeah? Eat this triple pounder combo meal then, you fat fuck. I'll chop you up and eat you for breakfast. Like fuck you will, you fat mess. Taste this. You shouldn't have done that, you know. Yeah? Well, I shouldn't have done this either. Catch this. 210, someone's bad-mouthing the foul burger. To Mr. Faustin's house, his wife answers the door and lets Nico inside, offering him a cup of tea. They sit down at the table, and Nico tells her about his life as a smuggler, hitman, and soldier, detailing a traumatic event he endured during his service.
After you walk into a village and you see 50 children all sitting neatly in a row against the church wall, each with their throats cut and their hands chopped off, you realize that the creature that could do this doesn't have a soul.
In comes Dimitri and Faustin, with the latter giving a warm embrace to his wife.
I tell you one thing and you ignore me!
You stupid bitch!
Faustin asks Nico to pick up a truck and call him once he's done so. Once in the truck, Nico calls up Faustin, who instructs him to drive over to Bohan and park inside a garage on Guantanamo and Windmill, mentioning there is a gigantic payload in the truck and to be careful on the journey over. Thanks, Faustin. Driving over as cautiously as possible, Roman calls, asking if Nico would like to get drunk, and for obvious reasons he declines. Parking up the truck, Nico activates the bomb and runs out, forgetting his Ushanka. Surely there's plenty of time to go back and grab it. I mean, the explosion isn't going to be that big. After completing the job, Nico gets a text from Dmitri asking him to meet up at the boardwalk in Firefly Island. Dmitri's sitting on a bench, looking very somber, as Kenny Petrovic is out for blood, saying he'll have his head if Mr. Faustin isn't killed. Dmitri told Kenny that Nico was a hired gun, so he's willing to spare him, only on the condition that he kills Mr. Faustin himself. Heading to Perestroika, I spot Mr. Faustin going inside. Following him in, he's backed up by 2 bodyguards. He tells Nico that Dmitri originally wanted him dead after the drowning of Vlad, and was only spared under his guidance. Faustin runs out the back door, leaving me to deal with these cronies. Chasing him up onto the roof, his gun runs out of ammo. Left with no other choice, he surrenders, so Nico puts him out of his misery. Nico calls Dmitri, asking if he has the money for the hit. Dmitri instructs him to meet up at a warehouse in downtown Broker, alone. Nico, sensing a trap, calls up little Jacob, getting him to help out if things get hairy. How the fuck did he get here so quick? Going into the warehouse, Dmitri thanks Nico for dealing with Faustin. He then brings in Ray Bulgarin, Nico's old boss during his time as a smuggler in Europe. He accuses Nico of stealing from him, and orders a thug to slit his throat. Nico headbutts him off and a firefight ensues. Dmitri and Bulgarin scurry out the back door as Nico slays the last of their minions. Once outside, there are police everywhere, so Nico and Jacob hop in a police car and speed back through literal hell on earth. Like, what the fuck is even going on here? Dropping Jacob off, Nico phones Roman to tell him about what's just happened. Roman answers, whispering, asking me to show up behind the Russian-owned garage I dropped the TVs at earlier. Great idea.
Roman, where are you?
In here! I'm stuck! Let me out!
Helping Roman out of the boot, Nico informs Roman of the situation, saying they need to get out of Hove Beach, so Roman asks to be taken over to the apartment to pick something up before they post up in Bohan. Once reaching the apartment, they see it's completely on fire. Roman tries to go in to get something, but Nico stops him. They go over to check on the depot, which is also alight, which causes Roman to lash out at Nico, blaming him for everything that just happened. Nico tells him to brighten up, letting him know he still has Mallory, so they speed off to Bohan to hide out. They park up outside an apartment building and head in. It's actually an upgrade over Roman's old apartment in Hove Beach. It looks 10 times better and has twice as much room, so I'm actually glad it burnt down. Roman becomes randomly chipper after bawling his eyes out in the car all the way over, so Nico calls him an idiot. Mallory enters, glad that Roman is okay, and asks Nico to come by the community center later as she knows people in the area that will have some work for him, then leaves.
Hey you, come on now, come on, listen to me, alright? This city here is hell on earth. You could be living with me in the desert, so follow me. Follow me into the fiery pits, alright? Now, don't think...
We are on the move, over to meet Mallory at the community center. Inside, there's a cameraman recording a douchey looking dude spouting some nonsense with his own personal hype squad dancing behind him. In comes Nico, causing Mallory to break from the group, greeting him, then making the introduction to Manny Escuela, the proprietor of the West Bohan Youth Outreach Program. Manny pulls Nico in front of the camera and asks if he's gonna help him clean up the streets, so Nico grabs the camera and drops it. Manny yells at Nico for damaging the camera and says he has work for him and is willing to pay. He wants him to kill a group of local dealers so he can take credit for it. Manny says he heard the dealers were hanging out around Grand Boulevard, so we head over. Parking up outside, out comes the dealer, who gets in his car and speeds off, so we tail him, being as inconspicuous as possible, so I test the horn to be sure it's working.
Yo, what the fuck are you doing?
I never understand missions like these. How does keeping my distance make it any less suspicious? Is this not the most obvious looking thing ever? The guy gets stuck at an intersection because two cars are in the middle trying to do sign language or some shit. And because the guy's incapable of driving around them, he just sits there for eternity, leading to me being caught. So Manny kicks me out of my own car, leaving me on the side of the road. Following the guy once again, he gets stuck at another intersection. To kill some time while I wait for the dealer to grow a brain, I walk over to a car on the road and wipe a smudge off it. The owner comes out to thank me for keeping his car in tip-top shape. The police overhear what's going on, so they decide to snatch up the guy, taking him down to the police station to award him for being a model citizen. Since the traffic still hasn't moved on, I honk my horn at them, hoping they free up, which causes the dealer to realize I'm tailing him. How does honking my horn there make him suspicious at all? Is that not what anyone would do in a situation like that? Once again, the guy gets stuck at another intersection, so I try to usher him on by pushing other cars into him. I back into a police car which gives me a wanted level, spooking the dealer. Left with no other choice, I decide to alter reality itself by turning the vehicle density slider down to 1, making less cars spawn. Following the guy for the final time, he parks up outside a warehouse then heads inside. Manny instructs Nico to go in after him and deal with anybody inside, while he goes back to the community center to pick up his cameraman Jay. Running onto the rooftop, there's an open skylight, so I use it to get inside the building and dispatch the dealers. Walking out the front door, Manny's back with Jay. They ask Nico to walk back out the door again for the sake of the scene.
Could you walk out of there just one more time? We need to get the shot just right. Oh, yeah, that's a good idea.
I can put my foot to your face if you like. I don't mind doing that again and again till I get it right.
They then head inside the warehouse to show people what street life is really like. Leaving the warehouse, I head back to the apartment to change out of the Russian mafia clothes as I'm no longer part of the team due to Dimitri's betrayal. Speak of the devil, he gives me a phone call just as I'm walking out the door and says him and Bulgarin were disappointed that they didn't find my body among the others at the warehouse. Well, of course they didn't. Last I recall, they were the ones running away after I mollywopped all their cronies. He then goes on to say I won't be so lucky next time. Yeah, right. There won't be a next time. What the fuck? Back at the community center, Manny's there with Deputy Police Commissioner Francis McCreary. In the least scripted sounding way, Francis tells Manny he appreciates his work, then takes off. Nico interjects, telling Jay to cut off the camera, just as Manny was starting to say everything and nothing at the same time. So he tells Nico off for ruining his flow. Manny goes on asking Nico for a favor. He promised Francis that he'd have a group that's been causing problems all over South Bohan dealt with, and instructs Nico to head over to a garage on Windmill Street to see that it's solved. On the journey over, I spot a man being air deployed directly into Bohan, then park up outside the garage and lay waste to the ruffians. After finishing the job, the police chased me around, acting as if I just killed 5 people at a garage on Windmill Street, so I jet over to the apartment to hide out. After dropping the heat, Mallory calls, saying that a friend of hers named Elisabetta Torres has some work and asked to meet up at their apartment on San Quentin in Fordside. But I need to take a break from all the killing, so I get a job as a cab driver. Hey dude, where are you headed? Shit, man, this motherfucker better be fast, cause I gotta get over to the airport right now. No problem, I'll just chuck it into 15th gear. Heading into the apartment with Mallory, Nico's introduced to Elisabetta. She asks Nico if he can handle himself, which of course he can. Packy set up a deal with a new supplier, but Elisabetta doesn't trust them, so she wants Nico to oversee the deal in case anything goes wrong. Walking out, Packy's a slow fuck, so Nico walks out of frame. He asks Nico to scale up a building on Joylet Street that's overlooking the deal, saying there's a sniper rifle left on the rooftop in case the deal goes south. Running down the street, I make it over to the building, collect the rifle, and wait. Packy arrives. and walks over to the dealers in the alleyway. The dealer starts causing a fuss, so everyone pulls out their guns and begins shooting. So I shoot back at the dealers, protecting Packy. After they're all dead, Packy gets in his car and drives off. Leaving the building, Elisabetta gives Nico a call, letting him know to come back for some more work. At her apartment, she's having a party. Elisabetta introduces Nico to Johnny Klevitz, the vice president of the Lost, who's trying to offload some heroin. Yet again, Elisabetta wants Nico to oversee another deal from more buyers she doesn't trust. Why even bother selling to them if you don't trust them? Doesn't she know what just happened with Packy's deal? Johnny leaves to go pick up the gear, so Elisabetta introduces Nico to Playboy X and gets him to tag along to make sure everything goes smoothly. On the trip over, Playboy tells Nico about what he's got going on, saying he'll pay a lot for Nico's help in the future, so they exchange phone numbers.
It's Christmas every day when you rolling with this nigga.
We meet up with Johnny in an apartment block, then head into a room to start the deal. The buyers start acting weird, so Johnny calls off the deal, causing the two buyers to pull out their guns, telling everyone to freeze as they're actually undercover police. No way! I never would have known this deal was going to be a bust. Noose begins swarming in, so Nico and Playboy fight them off.
Enjoying yourself?
These ones won't be causing no trouble. We move! I got rid of these guys. Let's go!
The money! Yo, G, stay close! Pop these dudes! They got to the party. Fall back and regroup! Come on, money! Stick by me!
Outside the building, they hop on a motorbike and speed to safety.
Fuck you, Nico! I don't see why a young kid from...
Dropping Playboy back at his apartment in Algonquin.
I'll hit you up when I need your ass.
I speed over to the moto store around the corner to get some new clothes. While browsing, Roman rings, letting Nico know that he got the insurance payout for the cab depot burning down, even though it was very obviously arson. Leaving the moto store and running around the corner, Roman calls again, but this time asks if Nico wants to go play pool. So of course I say yes, making it over to Roman, then catching a cab over to the homebrew cafe. We go in, so I show Roman what an absolute pool prodigy I am. After winning the match, I head back to the apartment and drop Roman off.
You want to hang out again soon? I'm sorry, but that is mine!
I give Jacob a call to see if there's any packages he needs delivered, so he tells Nico there's one waiting in a car outside the cafe. Getting over to the best maintained car in Liberty City, I drive over to the meet. Here you go, mate. What? This is only $11. Where's the rest of the money? Oh nah bro, don't have it. Give me the fucking money! Outside Brucey's, a guy runs over my foot, so I slap him silly, then head inside. Nico introduces himself to Brucey's mechanic, then out comes the roid junkie, showing Nico some of his flashy moves.
Oh, I'm sorry. Can you show me that again?
Brucey tells Nico there's a guy hiding out who owes him money. He wants Nico to steal a police car and use its computer to locate the guy and kill him. Driving over to the station and getting in a police car, I give Brucey a ring. But what's this across the street? A hot dog stand! On the phone, Brucey said the guy's name was Lyle Rivas, so I punch it into the computer, giving me a location, so I speed over to catch the guy. He's inside a dinky looking building taking a piss. Nico walks inside saying he's there to kill him, so Lyle jumps out the window, hops in his car and speeds off, making Nico chase him down. After dealing with Lyle, I head back to Brucey's. He's inside, doing dips and punching a bag, completely jumped up on bull shark testosterone, so Nico tells him to calm down on the gear.
Do I look like I got funny balls to you?
I haven't considered it.
Brucey goes on to say that Lyle had a car that's worth stealing, so he wants Nico to go and collect it in an alleyway off Yorktown Avenue in Steinway, saying there'll be no trouble. Driving over to the alleyway, I get off the bike and into the car. Once in, some thugs show up and start shooting, so I speed away. Driving on for a bit, they're still tailing me, so I decide to start shooting back. After finishing off the pursuers, I drop the car off at Brucey's, completing the mission. At the front of Brucey's, I give him a call letting him know the job's done. Whilst on the phone, I spot an armored cash collection van, so after hanging up, I chase it down and pull the driver out from the front seat. To get the money out of the car, I have to destroy it, so I drive over to the park to think about how I'm gonna get in. Once I'm there, I park up and sit down on the swing set trying to think of an idea. Stranded out in the middle of the ocean, I swim back to land, go to Burger Shot and get a burger, then drive all the way into Algonquin to see Playboy. Taking the elevator up into his apartment, Playboy greets Nico at the front door. Playboy asks him about his true intentions in the city.
Well, I need money. This pays. I can do it. I don't care if I live or die. And I'm looking for someone.
One of Playboy's girls comes out onto the balcony, saying there's a guy named Dwayne at the door. Playboy greets Dwayne, who just got out of jail, acting as if he hasn't been ignoring him for the last 4 years, then introduces him to Nico. Playboy lets Dwayne know that him and Nico have a job to do, and to make himself feel at home. While driving down to Castle Gardens, Playboy tells Nico that he's trying to get in contact with Yusuf Amir. He wants Nico to go in and clear out a construction site of his, which has been seized by Mafia union men, placing all the works on hold, hoping to be put into Yusuf's good graces for doing so. We park up across from the site, where Playboy left a car loaded with guns. Collecting the guns, I pull out a sniper rifle and pick off 3 union men sitting on top of the cranes. Then run inside, shooting and blowing up everyone present. After killing a group leaving a helicopter, I spot the Union leader running away across the building. During his escape, he develops muscular dystrophy, causing his arms to distort, so I shoot him dead, saving him from the terrible disease. Some yoga would be amazing right now. Can I join in?
Just fuck off.
What? After some relaxing yoga, I head into Playboy's apartment where he's inside playing some pool. He mentions Dwayne has been getting on his nerves since he's released from prison, but leaves it up to him just readjusting back into everyday life. But he's not the only one causing him problems. There's a guy Playboy believes has been bad-mouthing him to anyone who will listen, so he wants Nico to go and deal with him at the basketball courts on Exeter Avenue. Nico asks for a description of the guy, so Playboy starts speaking a foreign language.
And he a regular looking dude, know what I mean? Now he don't flash his guap too much, but you can see it in his eye. He a hustler.
Eh?
Homie ain't too brolic, but he ain't scrawny neither. And he be styling on him a little, you dig? I mean, he ain't too bummy, but he grimy too.
So he's the average one?
Look, he's brown skin B. Motherfucker be rocking baggy clothes, all that. Jewels, and he stay fresh with the clean sneakers, know what I mean? And sometimes a bandana.
Getting nowhere with the description, Playboy hands Nico a camera phone, telling him to take pictures of the guys down at the courts and to send him photos so he can verify who the target is. Reaching the courts, I pull out my brand new phone and take a picture, sending it to Playboy. After a few moments, he gives Nico a call, telling him Marlon's the one,
Just like a damn canary, wearing that yellow jacket and shit.
so I head in and deal with him.
Who you out? Fool?
Peace out.
I go for a walkabout after dealing with Marlon, then Michelle gives me a call. She says she's heard Nico's been hanging around with Elizabeth Torres and tells him to be careful, letting him know that if he needs to get anything off his chest, that she's wired up and ready to listen. After borrowing someone's car, I get another phone call, but this time from Playboy, saying that he'd like if Nico went over to Dwayne's to check up on him and to help him out, so I head straight over. Knocking on the door, out comes a cagey Dwayne, checking outside for trouble, then inviting Nico inside. He's dissatisfied with how life has been since he was released from the pen, mad that no one wants to do anything with him, namely Playboy and his ex-girlfriend Charisse. Dwayne says he pulled plenty of strings while he was locked up to make sure Charisse was provided for, getting her
Cars, houses, apartments, bank accounts, everything.
Dwayne's heard that Charisse is hanging around and giving his money to Javon Simpson, the same guy who snitched to the police about Dwayne's illegal activities, resulting in him going to jail. Nico says he'll make them repay, but Dwayne tells him not to bother. Nico insists, saying Dwayne reminds him of himself, so he heads over to their hangout spot at an arcade in Chinatown.
You remind me of me.
Parking over the road from the arcade, Charisse and Devon are there, smooching it up. Over comes Nico, who demands the money, causing Devon to pull out a gun, then run for his motorbike, speeding away. Sparing Charisse, I run back to my car and catch up to Devon. Collecting the money, Nico calls Dwayne, telling him he's got his money and to meet him at the Clock and Bell in Star Junction. Once there, Nico gives Dwayne his money, saying he got rid of Javon but let Charisse go, much to the delight of Dwayne. Happy he got his money and that Charisse is still alive. When I was headed over to Clock and Bell, I spotted a construction site, so I run back over to see if they have any positions available. Hey mate, I hear you guys are hiring. Can I get a job? Yeah, we're hiring. But not fucking ugly cunts like you! Oh, okay. Well then you better get off site then, you fucking ugly cunt! Since they weren't hiring, I drive over to Brucey's to see what's going on. He's inside doing,
Hey, man.
Brucey things.
Nico. Brucey, you got to chill. For real.
While Roman's typing away on a computer, he asks Nico if he'd like to go on a date. With a guy. Roman's made Nico a dating profile, posing as a gay man, setting him up with a guy that goes by French Tom. He's the cousin of Lyle Rivas, the guy Brucey had Nico hunt down and killed. And just like his cousin, he's gone into hiding because he owes money. So once again, Nico has to pull someone out of hiding and kill them. Roman directs Nico over to the Twat Internet Cafe to send French Tom a dating request, so I head over.
You're a dick.
Walking in and getting on the computer, I go to lovemeet.net and check out my outstanding profile, then go onto French Tom's, sending him a date request, and wait patiently to hear back from him. Leaving the cafe, I drive down the street and get a call from little Jacob. He wants to go get shit-faced, so I let him know I'll be over soon.
Yeah, definitely.
Picking him up and driving over to the Irish bar, we head in and get absolutely plastered. Coming out a few hours later, we've suffered a near complete loss of motor function due to the severe inebriation from the alcohol. A man outside offers to give us a lift back to Jacob's, but we decline his humble offer, deciding to steal his car instead, driving back ourselves. Halfway back, we spot some letters in the car penned and ready to be posted, so we slip them into the mailbox for him. Parking up at Jacob's, he says we should do it again sometime and heads into his house. Cruising around after dropping off Jacob, who's this I come across? It's Badman! What are the chances of that? He tells Nico in a somewhat intelligible way that there are some Russian types causing him problems, invading his turf and Willis, resulting in him losing money. He asks Nico to tag along with him to an alleyway off Carrollton Street, where he's heard the gang's been dealing. So we drive over and dispatch the Russians. Badman thanks Nico for his help and heads on his way, so I make my way over to Algonquin and liquor up. After having some fun at the Superstar Cafe, I go see a melancholy Dwayne, staring at his magical window that makes my glasses disappear. He talks of his dissatisfaction with everyday life, still encumbered by his past, wishing he still had all that he lost. Nico tells him to pull it together and asks him to elaborate further about what he's lost. Dwayne says before he was locked up, he owned a strip club, but after he went under, a group swooped in and stole it from him. Nico says he'll go over and kick out the squatters for him, so he leaves, bound for the Triangle Club in Bohan. Just before arriving, Brucey calls, asking if Nico would like to.
Go check out the naked bitches.
Nico explains he's already going to the strip club for business reasons, but he'll send Brucey some pictures. Parking up and going inside, I look around for a bit and take some pictures for Brucey. A bouncer comes over, seeing what I'm doing, demanding I send him the pictures too, but I tell him that they're strictly for a friend, and he didn't like that response, so I had to act out in self-defense. The last of the club managers bolts out the front door and speeds off. The police arrive, so I explain to them how I acted out in self-defense. Then make chase after the manager, dealing with him. Calling Dwayne and letting him know the new management has been booted out. He tells me that they were working alongside Playboy and he's going to be pissed when he finds out what happened. How nice of Playboy to be paying me to fuck up his business interests. After grabbing a bite to eat, I drive into Duke's to check out the gun store, getting a call from Playboy. He asks if Nico was the one that shot up the strip club in Bohan, so Nico replies saying he was just following Dwayne's orders, so Playboy tells him not to meddle in his interests. Hanging up and going into the gun store, I peruse through some of the stock. How much for this puppy? For you? $1 million. But the price tag says $2,500. Yeah? And the price for you's $1 million. Stop complaining. Fucking getting lippy with me, cunt?
This is a gun.
Dropping into Twat to check my emails, French Tom's finally replied to my date request. He wants to meet up at the diner near Roman's former apartment in Hove Beach at 6 PM on Thursday, so I let him know I'll be there. Scrolling down further in my inbox, Brucey's emailed me about an NLG 500 motorbike he's after, asking if I can go collect it for him, so I let him know I'll go get it. Taking a shortcut to the docks, I pull up at where the bike is and deal with the owners. Then hop on the bike, taking it back to Brucey's lockup around the corner. Driving into Algonquin, I head to Perseus to freshen up for my date with French Tom. While I'm browsing for a suit, Michelle calls, saying she misses me and asks to go on a date. Yeah, whatever. Don't you know I'm getting ready for my hot date with a gay man? Being made a new man, I'll run out and catch a cab over to the diner. Going inside and sitting down across from French Tom, he tells Nico about his opinions.
If there is one thing that I hate more than fat people and cripples, it is poor guys.
Nico tells him to get a job, which causes him to run outside at the mere mention of work. Chasing him down with mustard in hand, I throw it at him. Then put him through the mincer. After escaping the police, I let Brucey know everything's been sorted, so he tells Nico that Roman reappropriated his dating profile, so he's no longer fronting as a gay immigrant in Liberty City. Heading into Bohan, I go see Manny. He's at the community center reviewing some footage of his with Jay.
Yo, man, you made me look gay, man.
Manny jumps up, disappointed with the product, just as Nico walks in the door. He vents to Nico about it,
Making me look like a transsexual.
then mentions some of his former friends have been,
Talking all kinds of shit too.
and wants Nico to follow the L train from Algonquin to Duke's and waste them. Cruising through Duke's in style, I stop over at where the train crosses over from Algonquin, just as the train starts coming through. So I follow the train through Hove Beach into Beachwood City. The gangsters disembark, so I run up onto the station, blowing them away. Since I'm already at the station, I decide to catch a train over to Algonquin, taking the extremely slow train all the way into the main city. I hop off at Castle Gardens, where the police attempt to arrest me for no reason, so I stand my ground. Being tailed by a police helicopter with no cars in sight, a patrol car pulls up and the officers get out, handing the car over to me, allowing for an easy escape. Cruising through Star Junction, an angry Elisabetta calls Nico, asking him to come over and mediate between her and Jacob, as she can't understand all the Rasta talk, but somehow Nico can. Eating the most unhealthy shit on planet Earth and walking down the street, I'm stopped by Pathos, a CD peddler, who tries to coax Nico into buying some of his stuff by saying a whole lot of nothing. Mid-conversation, someone yells mockery at him from across the street, so he runs after them, so I go and help him. After dealing with the thugs, Pathos thanks Nico for helping him out and heads back over to the street corner to continue peddling his trashy music. Carrying on, I check the police terminal and check out the city's most wanted criminals, coming across a certain Barry Lamora who's wanted for human trafficking, so I head over to clean up the streets. Really is a wonder they have this on hand but decide to do nothing about the criminals. Once at the trafficker, I flatten him with my car, then make my way over to Elisabetta's. Despite it being plenty of hours since she rang, she's still arguing with Jacob. She says Jacob set her up with a dodgy contact that ended up stealing from her. Why does she keep conducting business with these random strangers, then expecting shit to not hit the fan? When is she going to start pointing the finger at herself? She demands that Nico go retrieve the stolen cocaine, located at an abandoned hospital on Colony Island. Driving over the Algonquin Bridge, I take in the sights of the city, watching the birds fly over the Humboldt River. Arriving at the hospital, I charge in to recover the cocaine. Upon recovering the powder, the police arrive, so I shoot my way out. Boarding a speedboat, I lose the tailing police, so I call Jacob letting him know I've got the coke. He says to meet up in a back alley in Chase Point. Meeting up with Jacob, he says he might know where the police heat is coming from. Then out of nowhere, Michelle barges into the conversation, saying she's breaking up with Nico because she's found out he stood her up for a gay man.
I have been working for the
Oh, and she's also a fed. She demands Nico to hand over the coke, as the police are about to catch Elisabetta, giving them a guarantee they'll be spared for doing so, resulting in Nico reluctantly passing it over. Michelle mentions that her employer could use the help of a guy like Nico in the future, so she says she'll be in touch. A depressed Nico, after being dumped by Michelle, decides to go drink his sorrow away. Fuck that bitch. I don't need her. All I need is more beer. Fuck this. I'm gonna hop in the drive and go for a car. Fucking get in! 500 bucks for that? She ruined my life! After venting his emotions, Nico goes over to see Playboy at his apartment. He tells Nico of his dreams of grandeur, talking of himself like he's a messiah amongst everyone, despite having me kill at least 40 people. Playboy starts bad-mouthing Dwayne, insinuating that he'd like him killed, so Nico jokingly suggests doing just that. Playboy initially shrugs off wanting to kill Dwayne, then realizes he doesn't really have any other choice. He attempts to plant the seed in Nico's head that Dwayne has been talking about him behind his back, then flat out asks Nico to go kill him, which he obviously declines doing.
But I don't want to.
Playboy tries to sway Nico by dangling the carrot, or in this case a fat paycheck that'll be waiting for him if he decides to change his mind, so Nico leaves the apartment undecided. Driving away from Playboy's, I immediately give Dwayne a call. He has a feeling that Playboy is out to kill him, and hopes that when the time comes, Nico will be there to cover his back. Hanging up the phone, I go to see Elisabetta. She's extremely paranoid as the police are hot on her tail, after finding out that Jorge had been an informant the entire time. To calm herself down, she slams glasses of alcohol and snorts multiple lines of cocaine just as there's a knock at the door. In comes Manny, looking to achieve his lifelong goal of catching a dealer with his cameraman Jay. He demands that she stop peddling drugs on the street, so she blows their heads swoop off. She asks Nico to help load them into the back of her car and cart them over to an organ dealer she knows in Broker. Hopping in her car and paying at the toll booth, I drop them off at the doctor's office. The guy takes a quick look over the bodies, then leaves with the car. Nico rings Elisabetta, letting her know the job's done, so she pretty much bids Nico farewell, as she believes her organization is about to go down. Passing back through the toll booth, headed for Algonquin, I give Playboy a call. He asks if I've made up my mind regarding... So Nico tells him he'll have it sorted. Arriving at Playboy's apartment, he's surprised with the haste at which Nico got the job done. Unknown to Playboy that I'm actually there to kill him, so Nico tells him he's doing just that, causing Playboy to show his true colors. Then fleeing out onto his balcony, leaving Nico to deal with his cronies. Playboy jumps across the roof onto the neighboring building, running down onto the street where more bodyguards come to his aid. After quickly dispatching them, Playboy runs straight into an alleyway, trying to escape through a door that won't budge. So he pulls out his pistol but it jams, leading to him surrendering, so Nico puts him down.
I took this shit to the next level. Cats like you just can't accept that.
You didn't change the game. The game changed you.
Ringing Dwayne and telling him Playboy's been dealt with. He says he has the deed to Playboy's fancy house and offers it up to Nico. He declines initially, instead saying that Dwayne should have it, but he doesn't want it, as it'll remind him too much of Playboy, so Nico accepts. Welcome to Moto. What can I do for you? Hey there, I'm just after some, new pants. These ones a little Hang on, what's that over there? My cubed game, bro. If you beat the high score, you can have anything in the store for free. Is that so? Come on, come on. Oh, fuck yes! How fucking easy was that? Where's my free stuff? You cheated! There will be no free stuff for you. Oh, really? Give me that money. Hey, you can't take that! Man, shut up! The moto store had nothing trendy to wear, so I parked my smoking hot, pristine vehicle outside Playboy's former apartment to check out his wardrobe. Yeah, mine. Well. What do we have here? Putting on something a bit more familiar, I run down the staircase and catch a cab. Earlier at the train station, I got a message from an unknown number asking me to show up at the pier in Castle Gardens. On the drive over, I get a call from a weary Mallory. She's heard that Elizabeta ended up going to jail and also killed Manny. She would never kill him. No way. Showing up at the edge of the pier, the anonymous messenger's there staring off into the ocean. It's Officer McCreary. He tells Nico he's aware of his criminal activities and leverages this information to blackmail him, saying he'll only continue turning a blind eye to his illegal pursuits, only as long as Nico's willing to help him out. So he agrees. Francis is being blackmailed himself by an individual who has some incriminating pictures of him, so he thought it'd be a great idea to put Nico in the exact same situation to help him out of his. The blackmailer is offering an exchange for the evidence by the Humboldt River off Union Drive East. Francis says going himself would be an admission of guilt and instructs Nico to go over and deal with the blackmailer. Taking a quick detour by the hot dog stand, I arrive at the overlook near the meet and ring Francis. He sends through the guy's phone number, saying to ring it and look out for anyone answering a phone, which will identify who the blackmailer is. So I ring the number. This guy's dumb as a box of rocks. You'd think he'd notice the car headlights pointed directly at him, with the guy inside talking on the phone, having the exact same conversation that he's having right now. The guy threatens to release the information if he doesn't receive what he's after, then sits down on a nearby bench like a lazy fuck. So I motivate him to stand up, causing him to run away. So in my best David Goggins routine, I motivate him to lose some vanity pounds. You're slow as fuck. Come on, Porky. I ran 57 million kilometers with 35 broken bones in 5 hours. Can you do 238,000 pull-ups with no hands? Well, I just did. Picking up the thumb drive, I hightail it out of there, pursuing the police. Giving the drive to Francis, he celebrates his freedom from the blackmailer and leaves. Driving by Middle Park, I get a call from little Jacob. He asks if I'd like to play some pool, so I let him know I'll be over soon. Heading over the bridge, I come by Liberty City's strongest and most dedicated garbage man, surviving a direct impact from a speeding sports car. Driving through Shotler, the hot dog vendors planned an act of revenge for all their fallen brethren, striking me with a heat-seeking missile. Narrowly surviving, I steal a Yardies car and head over to pick up Jacob, who's mad I took too long to get there. Yeah, well maybe you should try arriving on time after being hit by a missile. Parking outside and going into the homebrew cafe, we start playing some pool. Yeah, you would cheat, wouldn't you? Man, shut up! Dropping Jacob back at his place, I permanently borrow someone's motorbike, which gathers the attention of the police for some reason. Losing sight of the police, I get a distress call from Mallory. She's heard Roman's been kidnapped by some Russians that he owes money to, and they're holding him at a warehouse off Lompoc in Bohan Industrial. Speeding over, I get a message from Dimitri. He's attached a picture of a tortured Roman being held at gunpoint, so Nico gives him a phone call, leaving him a nice message.
I got your message, Dimitri, you piece of shit. You're a dead man. A dead man. Before you die, I'm going to cut your face off. Then I'm going to hang it on my wall to remind me what a lying, cheating, treacherous scumbag looks like. Goodbye, friend.
Stopping off at the warehouse, Nico heads in to save Roman.
No matter how much I wear, there is still a chill in my bones.
I'm with you.
I'm gonna
My cousin! You glad you messed with me? You Dimitri,
At the top floor of the warehouse, a man jumps out, holding Roman at gunpoint, threatening to shoot him if I try anything. Yeah, right. Roman thanks Nico for coming to his aid. They run down a flight of stairs and get into a bobcat outside, heading back to their Bohan safe house. Driving back, Roman tells Nico they weren't initially interested in holding him, but after finding out that Roman was related to Nico, the loners decided to hold on to him in the hopes they could capture Nico, turning him over to the Russians for a large sum. Outside the Bohan safe house, Nico gives Roman a lecture about his gambling habits, telling him to pull his head in, so Roman suggests getting an apartment in Algonquin to get out of Bohan. Now how the fuck is he gonna pay for that? Walking down the street, I get a call from an unknown number. It's Packy McCreary, the guy I helped out for Elizabeth Torres by overseeing her sketchy deal. Packy lets Nico know that he has work going, and if he's interested, to swing by to his mother's house across the road from Meadows Park. Driving into Algonquin to see Francis at the police department, Roman calls, saying he bought that brand new apartment in Algonquin with money that he won from gambling. I could have swore Nico told him to stop gambling like 15 minutes ago. Waiting inside the station, in comes an officer with a respectable law-abiding citizen, displaying an immense respect for authority. Francis follows in tail and invites
Jimmy.
into his office. Walking into the room, he immediately liquors up and gives the same spiel from his last mission, painting himself as a saint despite all that I've seen him do so far. Nico tells him to cut to the chase, so Francis clues him in about a lawyer.
Some morality cunt who takes photos of guys in the shower at the gym and then jacks off on his wife's face. Hey, enough!
The guy's name is Tom Goldberg. He's the same person the blackmailer was talking about earlier, and he also has proof of Francis's corrupt police work. He wants Nico to pose as a lawyer, looking to apply for a job at his law firm, which will allow him to get one-on-one with him. Francis also suggests to smarten up beforehand by getting a suit. Going through the Burger Shot drive-thru, I zip over to Twat. Checking out the law firm's website, I head over to their applications page and submit my legitimate resume, then wait to hear back about an interview. Hopping on the motorbike, I drive over to the fucking hell. Staying glued to the bike, I drive through Star Junction and come across Pathos. He's there still peddling his CDs and preaching the word of something. Just like last time, he's being heckled by some random thugs, so he runs over to deal with them. Different from last time, they show up with a gun and shoot Pathos, severely injuring him, so I come to his aid. After dealing with the thugs, I take Pathos over to the hospital to be patched up. After dropping Pathos off, I head over to check out my new apartment. How the fuck did Roman get that much money to be able to pay for this thing? Aren't we meant to be broke? Anyway, Dimitri calls while I'm checking things out, saying he'd nearly come across Roman, but was stifled, as someone came in and ruined the party before he could arrive. Now I wonder who did that. Hanging up on the rat, I drive over to the United Liberty Paper Building and meet with the lady who ruined my life. She apologizes for how things went, but admits to Nico that he's a nice guy, which she somehow gathered from the one date we went on. Going inside the ULP building, Michelle reveals her actual name's Karen, as Michelle was merely her undercover Poseidon. She takes Nico to office number 396, introducing him to her unnamed boss. He tells Nico he wants him to go learn everything he can about a man named Oleg Minkov that lives in Hove Beach. He hands Nico a business card with his phone number on it and tells him to head on his way.
And hey, welcome to America. Baskala Stala Dejava.
Bushka.
Moving at the speed of sound over to Hove Beach, I pull up outside Oleg's house, walking up to the front door and giving it a knock. Oleg's not about, so I make myself feel at home. Calling up the government man, he tells me to look through his computer and see if there's any indicator as to where he'd be. Looking through his emails, there's a message from a man named Vasily, who asked to meet him outside the jewelry store off Tulsa Street. Before heading out, I'm sure to leave Mr. Minkov a housewarming gift in case I miss him altogether. Parking up outside the jewelry store, Oleg arrives shortly after and begins talking with Vasily. Vasily immediately notices how strange it is that a car is parked up behind Oleg with headlights on, engine running, and a guy in the front seat staring him down. Oleg bids Vasily farewell and speeds away. Sending Vasily over the roof, I chase Oleg around half the city before shooting him to death. Arriving back at the ULP building, I go see the agent again. He talks with Nico briefly about his history and his reasons for being in the city. Cutting to the chase, he tells Nico that he's looking for someone and will send a picture of him through soon that can be put through to the police computer to identify the guy. Nico asks what's in it for him if he helps out, so the government agent guarantees he won't go to jail for his crimes, and he may even help with that special someone that he's looking for. Outside the building, I pull out my cell phone and dial up the police so I can easily get a police car. Calling up 2 separate times, no one shows up at all. Imagine if I was here shooting hundreds of people and they weren't showing up to the scene. I'd never do something like that, ever.
This town is fucked up. What was that?
Losing the police and hopping on the terminal. Uploading the image gives me a location for a guy named Adam Demayev in Dukes, so I head over. Zooming through Dukes in style, I arrive at his recorded location and head in.
I'm gonna take your head off. Now you give
The government is all powerful. There is no beating you.
Dealing with Adam and his pack, I drive down the road, coming by my favorite crackhead Brian. He's finally sobered up and is looking to make amends with everyone who he may have hurt. Brian intends to pay back a dealer he left out of pocket and asks Nico to accompany him over, so he tags along. On the drive over, Brian lets out the biggest sneeze in the car, covering the entire dash in snot, so Nico kicks Brian out of the car.
I want to hurt you, so go. Get lost, okay?
Then heads over to the hospital to be sure he didn't catch any illnesses. I'm here for my appointment. Hello? Can I get some help over here?
My job properly when I can't even afford a proper place to sleep.
Hey, can you... Oh, fuck's sakes. Can't you see I'm busy? Listen, can you get a doctor here? He told me to come by. Try ignoring this then. After his checkup, Nico goes into Algonquin to get ready for his interview. Heading into the Perseus next door to smarten up with a brand new suit. I decide on this one, then head over the road to the law firm. Once at the buzzer, I'm not even allowed to hit the button because apparently I'm not wearing a suit. The firm must have a Ponzi scheme set up with the Perseus to double up on their profits because this is definitely a suit. Buying another suit, I go back over, and this time I'm allowed to buzz. Nico identifies himself, so they let him in. Walking up to the receptionist, she lets Goldberg know that Nico's here for the interview, and walks him over to Goldberg's office. Once seated, they begin an absolute mental chess match with such compelling and thought-provoking job-related questions being asked.
Anyway, give me an example of some time where you've worked as part of a team.
I work alone.
You gotta say something. You can't just do nothing and waste both our time.
Collecting the files from Goldberg's desk, I shoot my way out of the firm.
Stay down.
Outside, I make use of a police car and speed over to the police department, dropping all the incriminating evidence over to Francis, relieving him of yet another blackmailer. Francis has another job, so I make my way straight into his office. He's on the phone with his mother, letting her know what a good boy he's been, and hangs up the phone, greeting Nico like he didn't just see him 13 seconds ago. Like every other meeting Nico's had with him, he speaks a bunch of nonsense before saying what he actually wants done. Francis starts talking of a drug dealer that's holed up in a tower block in East Holland. According to him, the dealer has committed every crime under the sun, so he wants him dealt with, offering a whopping $2,000 for the job. Francis is such a tight ass. Only $2,000 for doing a hit? Nico thinks the exact same, demanding $5,000 instead, so Francis agrees. Is that it? Leaving the station, I safely park up at the apartment complex. Giving Francis a call, he lets me know that Clarence isn't the only guy I have to worry about. He also has at least 20 armed guards protecting him that I'll have to deal with too. He wanted me to deal with all these people for only $2,000? Hanging up on the miser, I head into the apartment complex.
Damn, son, you don't belong around here.
Yeah, sure, man.
You come to the wrong project. This ain't no.
You're dead, Fred! I don't give a shit! Yeah! White screw it! I ain't get out the way! Give you everything, just let me live!
Chasing Clarence onto the rooftop, he surrenders and starts pleading for his life, saying to Nico that if he lets him go, he'll get straight into his car and never come back to Liberty City. So I go get his car for him. Taking a shortcut off the rooftop, I get on my bike, attracting the attention of the police for some reason, despite being on official police business. Leaving them in the dust, I cross over to Duke's to see Packy. Before arriving there, I come by a hot dog stand and attempt to make amends, as the vendors have taken our beef to a whole new level. We have a brief chat and then he hands me my hot dog. But what is this? Gherkins! At Packy's place, his family's having a lovely chat.
Who's gonna judge Kate? What would she win if they did? Virgin of the Year?
I'm thinking maybe you can catch VD for both
Fuck
of us,
you,
Patrick.
Katie.
Language.
Sorry, Ma.
In comes Nico, who immediately eyes up Packy's sister Kate.
Bye.
Packy notices this and tries to stand over Nico despite being a foot shorter, telling him not to make any moves as he'll be forced to kill him. Great. Driving into Algonquin, Packy lets Nico know about the job. A guy named Ray Bacino told Packy about a triad shipment that's being delivered to the fish market, using the location of the drop to mask the delivery as seafood when it's actually a ton of meds. We park up near the docks, then head around the back, where Packy says we should both climb along this billboard to get onto the roof, but I'm not stupid, so I use this shortcut instead, then wait for Packy to get up onto the rooftop. Once he's up there, we assess the situation, deciding to wait for the triads to load up the truck with meds before making our move. Once they're done moving the gear, we attack them head on. Getting into the truck, we speed over to Ray's lockup across the other side of the island. Once outside the fish market, a group of triads in 4 doors chase after us, attempting to reclaim their shipment. But with my expert driving skills,
What the hell?
in tandem with a box of grenades, they're quickly lost, and we drop the gear off at Ray's lockup. Outside the lockup, Ray shows up to check in on the shipment and tells Nico that he'll be in touch in the future, then takes off with Packy in the car. After completing the mission, I go for a leisurely drive about to wind down. Come on! Get that heap of shit off the road! I swear to God I'm gonna beat the fuck out this dude. What was that? Did you say something? Oh, nothing, man, nothing. Yeah, well, it didn't sound like nothing. Man, get the fuck away from my car. Or what? What are you gonna do? That's it, motherfucker. You've asked for it now. Fucking weak as piss, mate. I'm taking this heap of shit for a wash. Swimming back to shore after washing his car, I'm drenched from head to toe, so I go over to the moto store because they owe me free clothing for life. Chucking on some new threads, I drive down the street and come by Dwayne's old girlfriend Charisse. Charisse thanks Nico for sparing her life and tells him that she's turned a new leaf, doing away with all the drug dealer and gangbanger types. She starts to get emotional, causing Nico to ask what's going on. She says her new boyfriend's been abusing her and would like if Nico could go and roughen him up. She points me over to the apartments on Frankfort Avenue in Northwood, just down the road, so I speed off, forgetting Charisse completely. Backing her up and letting her into the car, we drive over. Arriving there, I walk over to her boyfriend.
Hell, you talking about Charisse? How that bitch expected to learn if I ain't giving her the stick? Yeah, I give her the carrot as well, but she don't complain about that.
You won't think this is so funny when you're the one crying like a bitch.
Nico tells him he's gonna fuck him up, so the boyfriend kicks his ass. Because he's so used to beating up Charisse, he goes down after Nico to kiss him, mistaking him for his girlfriend. Coming to at the hospital, I run across the road, spotting someone who's nodded off behind the wheel. Since they're asleep, I'll just move their car off the road from the wood. Wait, what the fuck? What caused all this damage? Oh shit, they're dead. They're not actually asleep. Ah, whatever. Since they won't be needing their car anymore, I take it over to the pier to see Francis. He must have heard what I was saying because he gives me a call. He asks Nico if he's been hanging around Packy McCreary. Given his track record, Nico assumes that Francis wants him dead. Francis scoffs at the idea, telling him that Packy is his younger brother. Nico really should have made that link earlier, given all the pictures hung up of him in the family house. They must really love him. Francis tells Nico about his other two brothers, demanding that he stay away from them as they're all trouble. Arriving at the fountain by the pier, Francis walks over pissed off that Nico only made Clarence disappear and not his entire organization, specifically one of Clarence's former lieutenants who's looking to speak to the authorities. He seriously expected Nico to overthrow an entire group of criminals for only $2,000. Nico retorts, saying that he only asked him to take down Clarence, so Francis starts yelling and fussing, threatening to turn Nico over to the police, so he shrugs him off and goes to walk away. Francis stops him before he can leave, changing his song immediately, starting to beg and plead that he sees this last job through. Nico demands his regular rate, so Francis reluctantly agrees. He instructs Nico to collect a sniper rifle from a car on the corner of Albany and M, and give him a call once he's outside the lieutenant's safe house on Denver between V and W, so I zip over. Stopping in Denver and getting into the Felter he left for me, I drive it over to the apartment, parking up and calling Francis. He tells Nico to scale the building opposite from the lieutenant's and shoot him from the rooftop. I think it's taking it a bit too far shooting this guy. I did let Clarence go after all. Going easy on him, I decide to just throw a grenade through his window, but I misjudge the distance and it lands just short, making the guy run out of his apartment. He goes to run to his car parked out the front, so I throw a grenade at that too. Once he comes out the door, he sees that his car's blown to smithereens and begins shooting at me, so I throw one at him too. Heading downstairs, I get jumped by multiple policemen. Why doesn't Francis get the police to lay off? It's the least he could do if he's gonna pay me like shit. Walking out the door, the authorities completely forget that I just dispatched 6 of their own decorated officers, letting me go scot-free. As I'm leaving the area, a man pulls up in the most stank-ass car on the planet, so I save him from the embarrassment of driving around in that heap of shit, using it myself to head on down to the ULP building to meet with the agent. Up in his office, he tells Nico to cool it down with all the theft, extortion, kidnapping, drug trafficking, and murder, as he doesn't want him to be caught before he can carry out his bidding. And what might that be? He wants a man named Edward Borodin taken out, as he's been handing a lot of money over to terrorists. He wants Nico to head over to Albany Avenue in Lancet and give him a call once he's there. Hailing down another rancid car, I start driving over to the spot, and the agent calls. He says there will be a helicopter taking off from the Civilization Plaza shortly, and to tail it until it lands. Following the chopper halfway around the island, it lands by a sports plaza in Westminster, so I leave the shoddy car to go pick it up. Once in the chopper, a man runs over, attempting to grab onto the landing skids. He completely misses them, but somehow manipulates reality, which allows him to clasp onto the thin air beside the skids. Violently swinging the helicopter back and forth many times, he unsticks from the air, falling to his death. Just as the guy fell off, Roman rang, saying that he's at the strip club and would like if Nico came down. So I hung up on him, as I can't control the helicopter while he's on the phone. Halfway back, Roman sends a completely appropriate picture, then I land the helicopter at the airport, allowing for the agent's cronies to cart it off elsewhere. Since it's such a beautiful day outside, I decide to drive down to the beach and relish in the lovely weather. While driving over, I spot an airport car with the best lift kit of all time, then swoop in to save a man that's driving around on an unsafe motorbike.
Next time, stay out of my way.
Taking the bike down to the beach, I spot Mr. Faustin's widow, so I go and have a chat with her, whilst a loudmouth hot dog vendor spouts nonsense behind us. She says things have been horrible since Mikhail died, placing all the blame on Dmitri. How dare he kill a woman's husband? Ilyana says Dmitri swooped in, taking over all their properties and money, forcing her and her daughter Anna to move into a one-room apartment. Nico asks if she needs money, but she shrugs it off, instead saying that she'd rather if her daughter would stay away from her slimeball boyfriend that she believes is putting her on the wrong path, setting her up for a lifetime as a... so Nico says he'll have it sorted. Ilyana pleads that Nico doesn't resort to solving problems by killing. Finishing our chat, I immediately turn around and put 500 bullet holes through the loose-lipped hot dog vendor behind us. Then head for Shotler, where the slime ball hangs out. Parking my bike next to the guy, I walk over to confront him.
I want you to stay away from Anna Faustin forever.
Yeah? And I want a blowjob every morning for the rest of my life, but we don't all get what we want.
In this case...
He takes off down the alleyway, so I make chase.
Shit!
Then lay him down on a mattress for a quick nap. After dealing with our jerk-off, I head over to the McCreary's place to see Packy. He sat in the lounge room with two associates named Gordon and Michael. Nico walks in, so Kate gives him a warm embrace. Packy tells Nico to lay off his sister, so she tells him to butt out, but leaves the room. Packy pulls out some guns, handing them to his crew, and asks Nico if he'd like to tag along. They're looking to rob the mafia, coaxing Nico into joining them by threatening to kill him if he doesn't come along. And you know Nico's no sucker, so he accepts. How come every time I come to this household, someone threatens to kill me? Getting a 4-door car, Packy tells Nico to drive over to the Colony Island Waste Management Plant, filling him in on the job on the journey over. The place is being run by the Ancelotti crime family, and they're holding a load of money inside. And how might we get that money? Packy reckons it's an amazing idea just to run in head first and shoot them all dead. Parking at the cemetery neighboring the plant, Packy says the money can be found in the office and that there's a boat waiting on the dock behind the building, which will make for an easy getaway. Seeing as we're going against all these mafia men as just a group before, I decide to get something that'll help level the playing field.
Hey, Packy! I'll go get the money!
Grabbing the money in the office, more mafia men swarm in through the other entryway, so I deal with them too. Hopping back onto my chariot, I zip out the back door and dive into the ocean. Swim over to and board the boat, then head back to the pier to pick up Packy. Once he's in the boat, we motor away from the waste plant, stopping off at a small jetty where Packy thanks Nico for helping out on the job, giving him his money, then speeding off down the river. Running up onto the street, a guy gives me a haircut by driving over my head with his car, then Packy rings. He says that he'd like if Nico took his sister Kate out on a date, as she doesn't do much, so he gives Nico her number. No idea why he didn't just tell me that before. I literally saw him just 40 seconds ago. Regardless, I call Kate to set up a date. She thinks it's a great idea, and asks to be picked up from her workplace by 9:30. Buying a brand new ride to impress her, I drive over to the community center and wait for her to come out. After a short while, she walks out and gets in the car, starts talking about how amazing it is. Then Nico infers that they're on a date, causing Kate to friend zone him, saying they are just friends that are getting to know each other. Ouch. Parking around the back of the Irish bar, we head in and get plastered. Coming out a while later, Nico can hardly walk in a straight line, stumbling over anything and everything, while Kate flaps her gums about some nonsense. We walk around the back to where I parked my Banshee, and it's fucking gone. What the fuck? So we head around front instead, where I managed to rent someone's car off them for free forever, using it to take Kate back to her place, bidding her farewell. Since I'm already at Packy's, I may as well do another job for him, but I need to be wearing a suit. Running around the back of the McCreary household, I quickly slap on a suit, where the police see me getting changed and attempt to arrest me for indecent exposure, so I take off around the front, away from the police, looking to start the job. However, Packy's not there, and he won't be there until at least 6 AM, so I decide to hang out across the road at Meadows Park to pass the time. Waking up at the hospital, I see a car passing by and spring on it, throwing the driver out and taking it for myself. The guy runs over to the door saying,
Hey, yo, I only stole that fucking car this morning.
as another car pulls up behind. It's the car's owner. He mistakes me for the thief that stole it earlier that day and starts shooting at me, so I explain to him that it wasn't me that stole it. Parking outside the McCreary household, Nico walks in the back to see the clan indulging in some nose candy and alcohol. Packy greets Nico and introduces him to his two older brothers, Derek and Gerald. Gerald pulls up Packy for including an outsider in family business, believing Nico can't be trusted, so he and Michael reassure him that Nico's the real deal, so Gerald gives them a nice compliment. Before going, Gerald stands over Nico, giving him a stern warning not to fuck with his family, then leaves. Well, isn't that great? Heading out the front, I get us a car and take off for the Bank of Liberty City, which Packy intends to rob. Passing over the Algonquin Bridge, the car breaks down just short of the bank, so we run down the street. Making it to the drop-off point, the mission won't start. Lucky for me, Packy, Derek and Michael stand in front of moving traffic, making a car stop, so I pull the driver out and we arrive outside the bank, immediately getting out of the car we just got into 4 seconds ago. Everyone rushes inside, guns drawn, demanding the civilians to the floor, then forcing the bank staff to open the door and the vault, where Derek runs down to plant the explosive. In the foyer, two of the hostages are talking. One comes up with a bright idea, presenting it to another hostage named Luis. He says he's a member of a gun club and intends to go against 4 heavily armed robbers, and readies his gun, just as Gerald finishes up with the explosive. Packy and him get into a spat, as both of them reveal details which will make it easier for the authorities to track them down. In the midst of this, the gun club member jumps up and shoots Michael, killing him instantly. In retaliation, Gerald and Packy shoot him 1,000 times, just as the explosive goes off, so Nico runs down to grab the money, loading 3 duffel bags full of money, just as the entire LCPD police force arrives. Before I leave, I'm sure to take out the gun club member's co-conspirator, Luis, then leave with the money.
Clear the area, Nico.
Running through an alleyway, we come by a war machine of a helicopter that somehow misses 100 rounds from mounted guns. Packy and Gerald run down into the subway, so I take down the helicopter by myself. Was that seriously all it took to ground this thing? Dealing with the chopper, I follow them down into the subway. After jumping onto the tracks, we run for a short while, coming upon a service hatch that we use to reach the surface. Coming out the gates, we find a car, using it to escape the pursuing police. Then I take Packy and Gerald back to their house, successfully completing the heist. I'm fucking rich! Look how much money I have! I'm gonna buy a new house, get a new car, and for fuck's sakes. Before I can relish in my newfound wealth, the ULP agent calls, saying the helicopter is all ready to go and waiting for me in a junkyard off Grummer Road in Northwood. He's got a lock on the terrorism-funding Russian millionaire who will be flying over the city via helicopter, wanting him shot down in an area remote from any civilians, letting me know that little Jacob will also be tagging along. Driving through Northwood, I show off my amazing driving skills. A guy on the opposite side of the road witnesses how spectacular my driving is, so he launches himself out of the windscreen to compliment me. Carrying on, I forgot I left the air conditioner on, causing the car to catch fire. A lady, seeing all of what just happened, believes herself as ineligible for owning a car, giving her car to me, recognizing a far superior driver, so I use it to drive over to the helicopter. I get out of the car and get into the helicopter, then we make chase after the Russian, following him through Middle Park, Bi-Star Junction, and over the Algonquin Bridge, at last passing over the water, which is a suitable enough place to shoot down the helicopter, so Jacob readies his rocket launcher, firing once, firing twice,
Come on, Jacob! You need new lenses in those glasses?
then finally landing on the third, blowing the Russian to smithereens. After dropping Jacob off at the helipad, Nico rings the agent to let him know that the guy's been dealt with, so he tells Nico that he'll look to find the guy he's after. I've left Brucey hanging all this time, so I fly over to his place to see what he wants. As always, he's inside doing, Brucey things. He gives Nico a quick inspirational speech, then walks over to his car, eloquently named the bitch, so he hops in and fires her up.
Pure gold, eh, big man?
Since the bitch won't start, Brucey's mechanic suggests ringing his friend named Stevie, asking him if he can borrow one of his cars. Where the fuck did my helicopter blades go? You can't have shit in broken, man. Fuck you, Brucey. Waving down a cab, we take it over to Stevie's, whilst Brucey gives him a call, asking if he can borrow his car. Stevie tells him that his Comet is parked outside his house, and to take it. The taxi pulls up nearby and we get in the Comet, taking it over to the starting point of an illegal street race. Using my sublime driving skills, I leave all the other drivers in the dust, winning the race with relative ease. Brucey asks to be taken back to his place and gives Nico Stevie's car. That would have been nice to know before I drove it off this ledge, but you know, whatever. Dropping Brucey back at his place, I speed off in the Comet, getting a call from Ray Bacino. He tells me to swing by his place in Little Italy for a meeting. After getting changed at the safe house, I head over to Ray's. I've got to say, this car isn't very safe. Maybe Brucey gave it to me for a reason. Outside the ULP building, I get a call from Packy's brother Jerry, who asks Nico to come by the house for some work. Maybe this time they won't threaten to kill me. Arriving to a restaurant in Little Italy, Ray sat down at a table. He gets up to greet Nico, calling him a kid despite them only having a 2-year age difference. He sits Nico down at his table and asks him why he's in this business. So Nico explains,
Because I need the money. And because I can't do anything else. And because I'm good at it.
Sure.
And because I'm trying to find someone.
Ray says he might be able to help out with that special someone, then starts explaining the situation, while Nico sits there looking like the thinker. One of Ray's debtors named Tenny Benavides hasn't been handing over the money he owes him, so Ray would like if Nico could go over to his apartment on Galveston near you and deal with him. Hopping into the death trap, I speed through the city over to the projects. Ray sends me a picture of a guy named Alonzo that'll be able to point out exactly where Teddy is located. Parking my car in front of Alonzo, I experience divine intervention as my car gets pulled from existence, potentially saving me from killing myself while driving it. Alonzo plays coy regarding Teddy's whereabouts, so I convince him to fess up. He says I can find him up on the 20th floor, so I let him go scot-free. Then run into the apartment block to catch the elevator.
Yo, you moving in? If he's moving in, where's his stuff? Give me some cover! Ooh. Ooh. Back off! What? Poppy, breathe! God! Screw you! Wave to the crowd. Dead, friend! Fuck this! I'm going in! Push! Gotta go shit!
Inside his apartment, Nico walks from the kitchen into the corridor. Out comes Teddy, slamming the door directly into Nico's head, knocking him off his feet. Then he takes off for the roof. Catching up to Teddy, he corners himself up on the rooftop. I attempt to let him go, but a gust of wind knocks him off balance, causing him to fall off. After dealing with that situation, I head for the grotty dealership, looking to spend some of that money I made from the bank job. I need me a new car. What a man gotta do to get some help around here? Hello, I work here. What can I do for you? I'm after a new car. My old one magically disappeared. Ah, what a shame. I'm sure I can help you out with that. Haha, you buying a car here? Yeah, I am actually. Haha, did you walk over here to ask for money? Your style is so out of fashion. OMG, you're bolding. What the fuck did I do? Broke boy, broke boy, broke boy. I'm not poor. Fuck you all. Taking the Turismo over to Little Italy, I spot Hassan. He came across from Europe over to Liberty City alongside Nico on the platypus. Hassan's graduated from his life in the Merchant Navy and is now selling counterfeit handbags on the streets of Suffolk. Their conversation is interrupted by a phone call. It's Hassan's boss. He's been holding onto his wages as he's skeptical Hassan might be an illegal immigrant, arranging to meet him on Castle Drive, so we asked Nico to come for a walk over. As soon as the cutscene's over, he asked Nico to get a car, even though he literally just said we were gonna go for a walk. Arriving at the spot, Hassan walks over and asks for his money, so the guy headbutts him, sending him down onto the floor, then speeds away. Hassan rushes to his feet, then gets back in the car, so we make chase after the guy and kill him. Once the money is collected, Hassan thanks Nico for helping him out, then asks to be dropped at a back alley by Feldspar Street. He thanks Nico once again, giving him part of his recovered money, then leaves. Back at Ray's, he sits Nico down, thanking him for helping out with that job. In comes a cracked out biker girl named Ashley, saying that her biker friends dropped off that ice for Ray. The ice being diamonds. The same diamonds were being baked into a cake at the start of the game. Ray managed to get Nico his dream job as a garbage man, telling him to meet up with an associate of his named Luca around the corner from the restaurant, so Nico leaves. Running around the corner, I meet up with the squad. They introduce themselves, telling me I'm the allocated driver, then fit me into their trashman attire. We take off over to the first drop. On the way over, I torture the guys hanging from the back, slamming them into every single object on the side of the road. Collecting the first drop, we head for the next, still slamming the trashman into more lampposts. After collecting the second drop, we start being shot at by some members of the Messina crime family, but I'm too busy flinging these guys into trash on the side of the road. Then drop the garbage truck off at the sanitation depot. Getting in a Sentinel, I go for a little drive about. A man steps out in front of my car, so I try to swerve to avoid him, but it's way too late. Getting my car back onto its wheels, I get a message from Roman. He's pissy that Nico hasn't bothered to reach out, so I ask him to come out for a drink, picking him up at the safe house. He says they should bring Nico's mother across from Europe. Nico scoffs at the idea, saying that Liberty City is too dangerous, so Roman disrespects her for raising such a prick of a son. Roman really needs to start showing women some more respect. After getting smashed, we fall down a staircase and attempt to scale our way out, while Roman starts talking about a guy that kept eyeing him up inside the bar. Finally getting out of the pit, we get in the car and head back for the apartment, crashing into every single thing on the side of the road, causing the car to catch fire. Taking a car from the grotty dealership, I make my way over to the McCreary household to see Gerald. Gerald invites Nico inside. He applauds Nico for his work on the bank job and says he's sick of being underlings to the mob. Gerald intends to stir some drama up between the Ancelottis and their Albanian muscle by planting a bomb on Capo Tony Black's car. Collecting the bomb from a back alley, I drive over into Little Italy, planting the bomb underneath the car, then I wait across the street for them to come out.
Forget about it.
They take off, so I tail them across the city, keeping my distance. See, now these guys drive like they're criminals, unlike that dumb hoodlum I follow for Manny. They arrive at some factory in North Holland, so I detonate the bomb whilst listening to the radio. The bomb goes off, blowing almost everyone sky high, leaving me to pick off the few remaining stragglers. speeding away from the spot, Gerald calls, asking me to swing by again for part 2 of the job, so I cross the bridge into Duke's to go see him. Knocking at the door, Kate answers, giving Nico a smooch. Mrs. McCreary shows up, telling her to invite him in. She rants to Nico about her children briefly. Then Kate takes him into the lounge room where Gerald is. He believes the police are about to snatch him up and take him off to jail, so he has to calm things down for a bit. He says the Ancelottis have an uneasy alliance with the Albanians, and he'd like if Nico posed as one of their members, then go whack their capo, Frankie Garone. Gerald shows me what he's going to be eating for dinner that night, then hands me the Albanian's uniform to put on. What's up with everyone forcing me to wear some random shit? Hopping on the bike outside, I drive into Star Junction. Frankie's there, beating up an Albanian, obviously retaliating for the death of Tony Black. He spots Nico, so he jumps on his motorbike and speeds off. After chasing him around the city for a lifetime, I shoot him dead. Ringing Gerald, he tells him that Frankie's been dealt with. Gerald replies, saying that any work Pegorino might have, he'll pass it on to him. Before hanging up, Gerald asks Nico to take care of his family, as he believes he's about to go under, so Nico assures him he will. What a beautiful day for some fishing. The sun's out, the water's calm, and there's plenty of fish around. Nothing could ruin this day. What the fuck was that? Holy shit! Quick, quick, quick! What the fuck are you doing? I'm right here, you smug prick! You don't own the ocean. Be a little bit more considerate. You know what? I've got something for you. Here you go, pal. After dropping a nuclear bomb on that tugboat, I go back to Playboy's apartment briefly, then head down onto the street, getting a call from Roman, who's been discharged from hospital. I wonder what he's doing there. I hope everything's alright. He wants to see if I can charter him out to the safe house, so I oblige. Getting on the bike, I go over to the hospital where Roman's waiting out front. Once he's on the bike, he asks to be taken over to our place in Bohan. You're telling me of all the places he could have decided to recoup, he chooses the most rinky dink, run-down, derelict garbage dump of an apartment over the other 2 top-of-the-range properties we have. And not only that, it's across the other side of the city. Pulling into the parking spot outside the joint, Roman thanks Nico for taking care of his sick cousin and heads indoors. That's a funny kind of sickness, eh? Before I could check out the dealership earlier, Packy rang up, asking Nico if he'd be able to check in on his brother Derek, who's been wallowing away at a park in Alderney, saying he and Gerald will cover all expenses incurred from whatever he may ask Nico to do, so I make my way over. Just before making it to the park, I get hailed down by a guy on the side of the road. It's Ivan from Hove Beach, the same Ivan that Vlad wanted Nico to kill. He's now post up in Alderney and has become a loan shark himself. He tells Nico he's had some problems with one of his recent debtors. During their last meeting, the debtor told Ivan that he would repay double if he could escape having his hands tied up behind his back in under 30 seconds. Ivan agreed, thinking it'd be a piece of cake, but as soon as his hands were bound, the guy reached into Ivan's back pocket and took his wallet, then pantsed him in front of a group of people before running away. Ivan says he won't tolerate such embarrassment, and asks Nico to walk with him over to the debtor's usual hangout spot and help him seek revenge. Despite insisting on walking, he demands Nico get a car, so we hop on my bike and take off. Arriving at the alleyway, Nico pushes Ivan aside as they both approach the debtor, who's wearing the biggest fucking coat on planet Earth. Ivan demands that he return his wallet, but the guy declines, instead saying that if Ivan doesn't leave, he'll post the pictures he took of him while he was tied up, so he pulls out his gun and a firefight ensues. Killing the last guy. Ivan thanks Nico for helping him out with that situation. He hands him a wad of cash, then takes off down the street. Speaking of down the street, that's exactly where Derek is. He's hardly conscious, sprawled out on a park bench drinking from a bottle, in the middle of the day, relishing in his own midlife crisis. Despite all the money he made on the bank job, he's decided to live like a homeless bum, mumbling to himself about whatever comes to his mind. Nico walks over and snaps him out of it, asking Derek why he's torturing himself. So he jumps up and starts yelling about a former friend named Bucky Sligo that's been threatening to kill him and his family, and asks Nico if he can take him down. Getting hold of a police car, I punch Bucky's name into the terminal, which tells me he frequents the burger shop in northern Alderney. Nico rings Derek, filling him in on Bucky's whereabouts. Derek says to keep hold of the police car as it'll make Bucky bolt back to his crew across town where Nico can waste a lot of them, so I make my way over. Parking out front, out comes Bucky, who dashes away through multiple backyards and a few trashy back alleys, finally arriving at his crew's place, so I go and give them a housewarming gift.
You are dead.
I'm telling you, don't do it, man.
Making light work of Bucky and his crew, I go snatch a one-of-one ride from around the back of an abandoned mansion, taking it onto the street to flaunt, as Ray sends me a message, saying that he's giving me an apartment in Alderney, as he'll have some work for me there in the near future. Driving back to Algonquin, I spot the same car I'm driving at least a half dozen times, despite the fact it literally never existed anywhere else until I started driving it. Passing by Middle Park, I get a call from Brucey, saying he'd like to go see a show with Nico, so I let him know I'll be over soon to pick him up. Carefully stopping by Brucey, he gets in, so we take off. About halfway to the comedy club, Brucey says he's a little hungry, so I park over near an Italian restaurant where we go for a bite to eat. Coming out shortly after, I spot a copycat driving around in the same one-of-one car I found in Alderney, so I take what's rightfully mine. We arrive at the comedy club to likely see some low-rent, no accolades, random nobody of a Did he just say Cat Williams?
What's going on, Liberty City? How are you?
Once the show's over, me and Brucey go for a joyride about, flying off the Algonquin Bridge while being tailed by the police.
Man, this is freaking me the fuck out!
Dropping him at his place, I drive by Roman's old burnt-out cab depot, which still reeks of smoke. Wait, never mind, that's just the car. But what's all this shit all over Brucey's seat? Did that juice head really spill his steroids everywhere? Aren't steroids also highly flammable? Oh, fuck. Due to the great deal of damage the car has sustained, in tandem with Brucey's spilt gym candy, the vehicle immediately catches fire, so I quickly pull into the paint spray. Somehow in just 3 short hours, they managed to completely repair the then flaming car and respray it from head to toe for a measly $100. There's no way their business is profitable. Driving into Algonquin for the 96th time, Brucey calls, saying he told his friend with the Comet Stevie about Nico and his line of work. He asked to be patched through to him regarding some cars that he's after, dotted about the city, saying he'll pay a pretty penny for them, so Nico tells Brucey to give Stevie his number. Hanging up the phone, I go to Little Italy to see Ray, who's on the phone himself with a guy named Phil. He puts the phone down and prods Nico regarding the whereabouts of the diamonds, as they were never delivered to him after their collection. Ray, being able to put 2 and 2 together, realizes that Nico couldn't be the thief, as he wouldn't be standing in front of him here right now. Instead placing the blame onto Luca and his crew. Ray tells Nico to go to Luca's usual hideout spot by the waterfront in Castle Gardens, so he takes off. At Luca's spot, he sat there in a car with his crew. Nico walks over and confronts them about the missing diamonds. They claim responsibility, but turn the blame onto him, saying they were left with no other choice as Nico reduced every bone in Joseph and Johnny's bodies to dust because of his reckless driving during the collection, requiring a complete skeletal transplant from a donor, so they speed off for the hospital. Firstly, how the fuck do you donate a skeleton? And secondly, how's that my fault? They didn't even have a single scratch on them by the end of the job. Regardless, I borrow a man's car, chasing them through Star Junction and into Middle Park. They crash through an interesting looking statue, completely fucking up their car, leaving them with no other choice but to stand and fight while Luca bunkers down in the bathrooms nearby. The car breaks down after crashing into Johnny, so I give it a little love tap to encourage it to start back up. Flattening Joseph, I head into the toilet blocks to confront Luca, who's hiding in the stall, blowing up the toilet. Literally. Collecting the diamonds, Nico rings Ray, telling him to come by the bridge in Middle Park to pick them up. Getting into Luca's somehow still working car, I drive over to Ray. Telepathically passing over the diamonds, he says to Nico,
I guess you never know who's gonna stab you in the back, huh?
which is definitely not foreshadowing. Right after Ray leaves, Nico gets a message from Stevie regarding a car he's after. Bet he wants a sports car, or maybe even some flashy SUV. What the fuck is that? A fucking moped? Stevie says his magnum opus can be found in Chinatown somewhere, so I stick my thumb out by the side of the road, trying to hitch a ride. I'm spotted by a passerby who swerves into me, yelling 100 points, like I'm some character in a video game. So I steal her car and head for Chinatown. Cruising through the streets, I come upon the puke green moped. Snatching it up, I take it off to Stevie's garage in Bohan. Since it'll take a lifetime to get there, I give Roman a call to speed up the drive. Mere seconds after he answers the phone, a guy on the opposite side of the road drives out in front of the moped, causing me to come flying off. Getting back to my feet, I go and exchange insurance details with him. Finally reaching Bohan, I drop it at Stevie's garage, being handed $2,049 for delivering it. Stevie could have easily bought the exact same moped for $500. The fact he wanted the thing at all is baffling, but if he's okay with ripping himself off, then I am too. Back over the bridge, it's hell on earth in Algonquin. What the fuck is even going on here? Carrying on, I start to fidget about on my phone, remembering I can buy new backgrounds and ringtones online. So I check some out at the internet cafe, settling on this background and this ringtone. Aren't I so cool? Backing out of that website, I spot lovemeat.net. Perusing through some of the profiles, I come by the profile of a lady that goes by the handle Law Chick. Reading through her bio, she seems like an absolute nut job, so I send her a date request. Coming back outside, there's some random lady rummaging around in the trunk of my car, so I swat her away, then drive over to Ray's to continue the diamond fiasco. Ray's inside, talking to his boyfriend on the phone as Nico comes in. He ushers Nico into the kitchen and begins yelling at him for not arriving sooner, demanding that he
offload this ice for me.
Nico starts yelling back, giving Ray an ultimatum, saying he'll only do it as long as he can guarantee that he'll find Florian Kravitz for him. So he gives Nico his word, then instructs him to head for the Libertonian to meet with Johnny, where they'll sell the diamonds to the Jewish mob for $2 million, splitting the cash 50-50. Meeting up with Johnny by the front door, the pair walk in and head upstairs to where the buyers are. Nico hands the diamonds over for inspection as someone peers through the window nearby, shooting Maury. Hang on, that's Luis from the bank job. How did he manage to survive what I did to him at the bank? During the chaos, Johnny grabs the suitcase full of money and runs off, leaving Nico to deal with Isaac's crew. Going down to the ground floor, Johnny comes out of a door behind Nico, and for some reason, he's just compelled to run back and forth, wading straight into the firefight, so I use him as a human shield. Whoops. Taking out the last of Isaac's crew, I speed away and give Ray a call, letting him know the deal was a disaster. Wasting no time, I go back to the restaurant to see Ray. He sat down with Phil, where they are discussing the current situation. In comes Nico, so they clue him in too, saying some lost MC biker members were spotted around Vauxhall and Exeter, telling Nico to go waste them. Cruising on over to the alleyway,
Oh, crap!
there are two bikers back there who immediately recognize Nico as Johnny's partner on the diamond deal, so they speed off, thankfully leaving an already running bike behind for Nico, which will make it easy to chase them. Rounding the corner, I make light work of one of the bikers, but the other biker must have dipped into some of that diamond money, spending it on titanium skin implants, making him nearly bulletproof. Shooting him about 51 billion times, he finally dies, so Nico rings Ray, letting him know of his success. After hanging up, Ray calls Nico again, this time saying he's figured out where Florian Kravitz might be. He talks about a guy named Talbot Daniels, who usually hangs out in the triangle. Nico calls Roman to let him know that he's coming by the apartment to pick him up. Roman appears out of thin air, then gets onto the bike, where Nico tells him he needs his help locating Talbot, leading Roman to reveal that he's already met Talbot and sometimes plays cards against him. Arriving to the triangle, they spot Talbot and walk over, demanding he tell them where they can find Florian. Talbot plays dumb, but thankfully, Roman is a degenerate gambler, having all of his tells memorized. Roman and Nico start making threats, then force him into a car so he can direct them over to Florian's. Driving off, Talbot guides Nico over to an apartment on Ivy Drive and Pyrite Street, where he claims Florian lives, so they head inside. Nico is angrily trudging through the halls, yelling for Florian to show himself, then kicks down his alleged apartment's door, bursting inside, gun drawn. Are we sure this is the right apartment? Doesn't really have the makings of a bloodthirsty criminal. A fruity man emerges from around a corner and hides behind the bed. The man recognizes Nico and asks what he's doing there, thus identifying himself as Florian. Nico points the gun at him, hoping to uncover the answers he's been searching for after all these years, but Florian doesn't have what he's after. He proclaims his innocence, so Nico lets him go. Florian Kravich, now going by the name Bernie Crane, is an openly gay lifestyle coach. Are we sure there isn't more to this than just some ambush? Maybe he rubbed Nico the wrong way sometime, if you get what I mean. Anyway, Bernie brings up his love interest, Bryce Dawkins, who's currently the deputy mayor of Liberty City. Nico interrupts, asking where Darko is, to which Bernie replies that he heard he was still over in Europe. Nico walks out of the apartment, repeatedly murmuring that he needs to find Darko, as Roman bids Florian farewell. Back on the street, Nico calls Ray, letting him know that Florian wasn't the one he was after, then catches a cab to see him at the restaurant. Like every other time, Ray's on the phone with some person that he hates. This time it's Isaac, the leader of the Jewish mob. He claims that Ray set him up, acting as if the guy in the window didn't shoot at Johnny and Nico 1,000 times more than he did at the diamond dealers. Isaac threatens to kill him, then hangs up, so Ray passes his phone to a waiter nearby. In comes Nico, so Ray demands that he go deal with Isaac and his crew, holed up at the Majestic Hotel as retribution. Outside, a man runs over my feet with his motorbike, so I shove him off, taking it for myself, using it to drive over to the hotel. Parking outside, I walk into the reception area and over to the elevator, using it to reach the penthouse where Isaac's cronies are waiting, so I start shooting. One of the mobsters is waiting out in the kitchen where he asks for mercy, so I let him go. Going upstairs to Isaac's room, he teleports to his feet and tells his girlfriend to run away, so I shoot her dead. Isaac starts pleading for his life, saying that he's a personal friend of Benjamin Netanyahu, and he'll send a Mossad after Nico if he's killed, so I execute him. Running onto the roof, the last of the crew are up there having a barbecue. The barbecue was gifted to the mob by the street vendors, as they heard Nico would be through sometime soon to silence them. They planted a bomb in it, hoping to blow him up, but it goes off early, vaporizing the last few mobsters. Taking a shortcut off the roof, I flee to Middle Park, coming by one of the vendors and his pet pigeon, so as payback, I blow them both away. Then jump off a tiny ledge that causes me to die. How the fuck did I survive jumping off the roof of the hotel? But falling off this tiny little ledge is what kills me. Regaining consciousness at the hospital, a guy gives me a close-up look at his car, so I take it from him and go over to see Ray's friend Phil Bell. In Alderney, I get a call from Kate, asking Nico to come out, but I snob her as she friend-zoned Nico, but it reminds me to check my emails to see if I heard back from Law Chick. Stopping outside Twat, the ULP agent calls, pointing fun at Nico for meeting up with his quote-unquote boyfriend, saying he would have fingered him if he was the guy Nico was after. Hey, you do you, bro. Checking my emails, there's no sign of any date requests, so I retreat back to my apartment for a quick nap. Waking up, I get a call from an unknown number. It's Bernie! He asked Nico to come by his place to help him out with something. Walking down the stairwell, I spot a guy that dropped his phone on the ground, so I pick it up and give it back to him. Making my way to Bernie's, I get a call from Dwayne, asking if Nico rang him, which he obviously didn't do. So I ring him back again to see if he's just making shit up, and sure enough, he doesn't answer. Fucking rude fuck. Knocking on Bernie's door, he invites Nico inside, walking him through his homoerotic apartment, explaining that he is scared for his life as a hater has been threatening to kill him. The guy frequently harasses Bernie while he's out jogging through Middle Park, so Nico suggests using him as bait to make the guy appear, where he'll sort him out. What a lovely night for a jog. As if the guy will be out here now. He can't hate Bernie that much. At the park, Bernie stretches, then starts frolicking about. Coming through a tunnel, the homophobe jumps out and hits Bernie with a bat, and takes off once spotting Nico. Disgusting behavior from that guy. You can't just walk all over someone because they're different from you. The guy makes his escape by jumping on the slowest vehicle in the entire city, which makes it easy to put 500 bullet holes through him. Collecting Bernie, we hop on one of the mopeds. For some reason, he wants to be taken all the way across Algonquin to the Perseus in the exchange, so we zoom over. Bernie gets off and thanks Nico for his help, and walks into the clothes store. Thanks for the car, mate. Man, this thing is awesome! Hang on, what's this button do? Oh shit, what the fuck? You're fucking kidding me! I just got this car, come on! Don't do this shit to me! Oh, someone's passing by. Maybe I can get some help. Hey mate, pull over! Help! You can't fucking park there, mate! Oh, you're fucking kidding me! Cockhead! Wait, another car. Surely they'll stop. Hello? Can you call a tow truck? You can't fucking park there, cunt! Mate, you're taking the piss! What the fuck is wrong with people? Oi, can you give me a hand? Oh, nah, get that fucking piece of shit off the road already, Lemonhead. Lemonhead, huh? You're not getting 5 stars on Uber from me. Oh, okay. Dropping off another satisfied, fair-paying customer, I head down the street to get a new car. Earlier I snubbed Phil to instead go for a prance about the park with a gay bloke, so I drive over to... the docks in Alderney to see him. Inside the small container office, Phil's talking on his 1,000-year-old phone as Ray and Nico come walking in. Phil jumps up asking who Nico is, like they didn't already meet back at the restaurant. Ray asks if they can talk business, so Phil lets him know to be mindful of people trying to listen in, leading them to invent a completely new language.
Yeah, you mean Harry the guy with the hat?
No, the guy with the, you know, the beep and the boop.
Yeah, the guy with the... and the...
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah, I heard.
Phil asks Ray for some help, but he doesn't believe it to be in his best interest, so he turns him down, instead palming Nico off to him to help out. Still oblivious as to who he is, he shakes Nico's hand, then walks the pair over to his stereo to show off his new speakers, using the music to mask their conversation, which doesn't really do anything as he yells over the top of it anyways. He tells them both of some heroin the triads are desperately trying to get rid of, the same heroin that was brought across on the platypus. They think the gear is cursed, as wherever it goes, trouble seems to follow it. Phil would like to prove their point by having Nico go steal the stuff found in an alleyway beside Long John Avenue, and calling him once he's done so. Outside, I give Ray's car a little push to help him get going, then steal Phil's car, taking off for the alleyway. On the way there, I tune into the radio, listening to a heartbreaking story. I can hardly keep my tears back. Why don't you just go back to where you came from, you Stopping at the alleyway, I dump Phil's car, then wait for the triads to arrive. They show up and take off with Phil's car, but drop off their van loaded with horse, so I go and pick it up. The van starts to take off, so I sprint after it. grabbing onto the back, then climbing onto the roof. I tactically roll back and forth while crawling my way up to the cab. Reaching the front, Nico does some hardcore ninja shit, swinging from the roof, through the window, and into the cab. The driver pulls his gun on Nico, but he grabs it, turning it onto him instead. You'd think the driver would have just abandoned the van instead of trying to pull a gun on Nico, after all he just saw him do. Taking over the van, Nico calls Phil, who tells him to drop it off by the abandoned mansion of Beaverhead Avenue, the same place I found that flashy car. Dropping it off, I'm greeted by his nephew Frankie, who leaves with the stuff to stash it elsewhere. Shortly after leaving the van, Phil calls, telling Nico of a friend that requires his skills, that only operates off a specific payphone on the corner of Vitulo and Hardtack, saying to pick up the phone if he's looking for some work. I wonder if this is Phil's car too. Nah, anyway. Driving off, Phil calls again, this time about his boss, Jimmy Pegarino, who also wants some work done, saying to go see him at his place off Beaverhead and Westdyke. On the way to the payphone, I take a shortcut over the highway. Then Phil continues blowing up my phone, telling me I need a suit for my meet with Pegarino, like he demands all that respect despite being a wannabe mobster. Making it over to the payphone, I'm harassed yet again, but this time by Roman. It wouldn't even surprise me if I need a CT scan after all these phone calls. I've probably got like a Chernobyl-style elephant's foot developing in my ear from all the radiation. Roman tells Nico that him and Mallory have gotten engaged and will be getting married soon, saying Nico will have to get his own wife soon. So he tells Roman about Kate, causing him to immediately invite her to his wedding. Maybe I'm being too harsh on her by going out with that Lord chick girl. But anyway. Hanging up the phone for the 900th time, I pick up the payphone, where I'm introduced to a guy that goes by the name, The Fixer. And how do you get that name, you might be asking? Well, he fixes shit, of course. Duh. He tells Nico about a lady at the helipad on top of the booth tunnel that needs help with her helicopter as it won't take off. So he provides me with some tools to go fix it. Bursting through the tin sheet fence next to ammunition, I drive over to the helipad. The lady is there with her 2 bodyguards and pilot, so I help fix the helicopter. After helping out, her bodyguards just walk away like nothing's happened, which reminds me of what Salvatore Leone's bodyguards did when I dealt with him at Luigi's. Since she won't be needing the helicopter anymore, I take it for myself and fly over to see Bernie at his apartment. He's losing his mind on the phone with his boyfriend Bryce. In walks Nico, so Bernie tells his lover that he might be able to have their dire situation fixed. And what situation might that be? Well, Bryce Dawkins fronts as a bigoted right-wing politician where he frequently makes homophobic comments, even going as far as comparing homosexuality to terrorism. And no, that's not even a joke, he actually says that.
Deputy Mayor Dawkins caused with his homophobic rant recently is refusing to die down, as civil rights groups are demanding his resignation or impeachment. Mr. Dawkins tried to link Liberty City's gay community to terrorism.
Some people have caught wind of Bryce's private life and are attempting to blackmail him, which will ruin his career. So Bernie asks Nico to come help him deal with them. Outside, he says to get a vehicle that's big and intimidating, so what better than a helicopter? Somehow, the chopper doesn't satiate his needs, so I dice him up into 1,000 pieces, then immediately go back upstairs where Bernie is somehow in one piece. We get in his Turismo and take off for Northwood to meet with the blackmailers. They come flying in, asking where Bryce is, so Nico tells them to back off or he'll kill them, making them threaten to release the story to Weasel News, letting it slip that Dmitry Raskolov was the one who orchestrated everything as they take off. Bernie and Nico get back in their car and make chase.
Who's this Dmitry pig?
A man I met when I first
The Russians'
arrived.
car suddenly explodes because they forgot to do an oil change, which in turn causes our car to catch fire, making Bernie jump out and flop around like a fish. Come on, Bernie, stop over-exaggerating it. It's just a little fire, mate. Come on, grow some balls. Once Bernie toughens up, I get us another car and drop him back at his place. Earlier, Phil told me to go pick up a suit for my meeting with the Peg, so I head over to Perseus to get fitted out. As I walk through the doors, I get a frantic message from Bernie, asking for help at Pier 45. Once I've got on my suit, I make my way straight there. Arriving at the pier, a street vendor glances over at my car, telling me it's so ugly, so I ruin his entire life by destroying his stand. The man gets angry and pulls me out of my car, trying to beat up Nico. Channeling my inner Bars Rutan, I send the guy flying with a spinning back kick, then run to the jetty to meet with Bernie. He's not actually in any trouble, actually the complete opposite. He made it sound as if he was in trouble to drag Nico over for a fun day out on the water. Nico doesn't think it's as fun as what Bernie makes it out to be, lecturing him about his current situation. causing Bernie to make an amazing observation.
Honey, you are stressed.
Being hit with a truth nuke, Nico goes to walk away, making Bernie plead for him to come back, where he folds under zero pressure, so they jump in the boat and take off. Dropping anchor over by Hove Beach, Bernie pulls out his binoculars and begins looking around, spotting some Russians working on the behalf of Dmitri. They shoot at the pair, somehow missing every single shot, then speed off down the river. Nico makes chase, shooting back at their boat. The Russians maneuver beneath a broken bridge and speed around a large barge, so I attempt to cut them off, where I'm greeted by a sailboat hogging the entire river that capsizes our boat, allowing for the Russians to escape, and for Nico and Bernie to tread water until they drown. Once again following them underneath the bridge, we go over a ramp and past a fishing boat, where the Russians are intercepted by the LCPD harbor unit, ordering them to stop, so the mobsters tell them they'll pull over. The Russians disembark by the Duke Cemetery and split up. Upon reaching land, I deal with one of them by the water. Another one trying to hide behind a grave. And the last one standing behind a wall on the opposite side of the cemetery. Going back to Bernie, he somehow returned the boat to water, and thanks Nico for his assistance, then motors away. Taking off down the road, I go to check my emails at Twat to see if I've heard back from Lordchick. Finally, she's replied to my date request. She says she would like to meet up at 12 PM this Sunday, so I let her know I'll be over then. Driving into Algonquin, Brucey calls regarding Roman's wedding, hyped up that there'll be more women for him as Roman's tying himself down with Mallory. In Alderney, I spot a guy on the side of the road whose car's broken down. Lucky for him, I'm a master mechanic capable of fixing any automotive, locomotive, hell, anything with a motive to it. So I give him a rocket-propelled spanner that'll help him fix his car. Then head for the docks where Derek wanted me to come by earlier. Derek cuts the bullshit, ordering Nico straight into the boat, where they head north to chaperone an associate of his named Kim into harbour that's bringing super notes into the country. Super notes being counterfeit banknotes that'll help fuel Derek's heroin addiction. He says the notes came directly from the North Korean government, and he enlisted the help of Nico as he's a professional smuggler, as he knows a thing or two about crossing borders, being an illegal immigrant. At Kim's boat, they greet each other, then Derek texts Kim the route to the drop, saying they'll follow behind him to make sure everything goes swimmingly. But of course it doesn't. A bunch of Albanians show up, attempting to commandeer the notes for themselves, so Derek and Nico protect Kim. As Kim passes underneath the Eastborough Bridge, a helicopter shows up. Derek tells Nico he's been carrying around a rocket launcher this entire time, then hands it over to him, instructing him to shoot down the chopper. Reducing the helicopter to a wreck, Kim starts moving again, while Derek starts complaining about his brother Francis, blaming him for telling the Albanians about the deal, completely disregarding the fact Nico killed a few of their loan sharks and ruined their alliance with the Ancelottis. On land, Derek thanks Nico for his help, then sees him off. Running over to the strip club, I spot two people having a street fight, so I attempt to break it up. Serving up some justice, I go to catch a cab, where the driver hits me with his car. The passenger in the back seat complains about the cab driver and asks Nico to take over the cab, so I chuck the driver out. Talking with the guy for a short while, he says he owns a pizza place in Northern Alderney and is looking for some workers, asking if Nico wants a job, so I tell him I'll swing by later. Arriving in Northwood, Bernie calls, telling Nico that he's giving him Bryce's old car as a thanks for all that he's done for him, leaving it in the parking area behind his apartment. Once outside Pegorino's, the pizza man thanks Nico for driving him over and gets out of the car. Knocking on Pegorino's front door, Nico is greeted by his lovely wife, then is walked into the wannabe mob boss's office. They talk for a short while, then Jimmy yells out to Anthony, asking if Phil's called, so he tells him that he hasn't, but Ray has. Judging by Pegorino's reaction, he must really like Ray. He tells Nico that he intends to be put on the commission alongside the 5 ruling mobster families in Liberty City by bribing the Favanos to slip in a good word for him, having Nico act as security because he's historically had a shaky relationship with them. A car pulls up outside, and in comes that smug bastard Ray, who shows his true colors as some kind of bootlicker.
Salve. Get up.
He hands Pegorino a gift, causing him to look at it like some kind of Momo. Everyone heads outside and gets into the car, so I take off. Then I realize I left Pegorino behind. Picking up Jimmy, we leave for the abandoned Dude Chemicals plant in Actor Industrial, having to endure Marco and the creatively named Big Pete kiss Pegorino's ass the whole way there. I love how mobsters come up with nicknames for each other. It's always just their name and some description. Like if you're fat, your name's Big Pete. If you have bad eyesight, your name's Blinky Joe. And if you walk with a limp, your name's Two-Step Tommy. At the factory, Marco hands Nico a rifle. Then Pegorino instructs him to scale the building left of the car and to find a vantage point that overlooks the deal. Climbing the staircase and peering out a window where I can see the deal, the Bavanos arrive and begin their meet with Pegorino. They accept the bribe and spring on him, trying to take him out, so I pick off a few guys surrounding Jimmy, then put boots on the ground, running over to kill all the Bavanos. These guys don't stand a chance. I bet I could kill all of them with my bare hands. Yeah, these guys suck. Picking up Pegorino again. We arrive at the ambush, where this time I swoop in without dying. Clearing out the factory and reaching an injured Pegorino, Nico walks him over to his car, where he spots the Bavanos leaving with his bribe, demanding that Nico chase after them and reclaim it. So I start shooting at their car, instantly destroying the gift.
Maybe you can pick up another one on craplist.net.
Picking up Pegorino once again. We arrive at the plant. I clear out the ambush. Collect the peg, then make chase after the fleeing Bavanos. They speed around the industrial area, introducing two random people to the front of their 2-ton car moving 40 miles an hour, then crash into a plant by the dock area, attempting to flee on foot, meaning I must fill them full of buckshot. Collecting the offering, I get back into the car and start driving to the Peg's place. He starts talking about how he'd wish his wife would run away with another man, mentioning that he has his own Gumar, just like every other mob boss ever. Nico can't believe Pegorino wants to leave his wife so desperately, to which he replies saying it's just a figure of speech. Yeah dude, people just drop one-liners like that all the time. Hilarious bro. Dropping off the wannabe gangster, I remember that I drove a guy over from Bohan earlier that asked if I could help out at his pizza place. Showing up, he directs Nico over to the mopeds out front, asking him to deliver some pizzas. Here it is, 18 Caribou Drive. This place really looks familiar. Hello? I've got your pizzas. Come on motherfucker, I put a bet down. What is this shit? Stupid ass athletes. Man, who the fuck banging on my door? Yo, who the fuck out there? I'm just gonna sit them here. Man, where is this guy? Oh shit, you're the pizza dude. Damn, you're well dressed. Thanks, man. Pizzas are right here. Word? Let me... Yo, where's my pizza? It was just there, dude. I just sat them down. Hold up. Ain't you the cat that blew up Bucky? Bucky Sligo? Yeah, that was me. Why? 'Cause I'm his friend, motherfucker. And this is my motherfucking house you threw grenades in and shit. You gonna cost me a fortune. Oh, I thought I recognized this house. I'm sorry, man. It was not... Oh, no, you didn't, motherfucker. You think I'm just gonna let you get away with that? Fuck you, man. He was my pal. Where the fuck you going? You going nowhere. It occurs to me that I haven't heard from little Jacob in a while, so I give him a call to see if he has any packages that need delivering. Sure enough, he has some stuff on standby, leaving it once again in a car beside the cafe, urging Nico to be as discreet as possible. Collecting the package, I discreetly make my way over to the park, making as little noise as possible. Stashing the package at the drop-off, a group of thugs show up, somehow knowing about the package despite the great deal of trouble I went through to be as stealthy as possible. Cleaning up the overly observant thieves, I head to Derek at the park. Flying over Algonquin, Ray calls, expecting Nico to pucker up and kiss his ass, since he helped make the introduction to Pegorino, even though it was Phil that did. Ray's really been starting to show his true colors lately. No wonder why Johnny ripped him off. He's so up himself that he'd need a ladder to come back down. In fact, his negativity and self-admiration is so pungent that it makes the helicopter break down. Embracing life once again, I pull up my phone, seeing that my date with Lord Chick is meant to be happening in less than 2 hours. A guy nearby overhears my situation and gives me his motorbike to be sure I don't leave a bad impression on the first date. Passing through the tunnel, Kate gives Nico a call, saying she hoped that he was dead, then gleefully asking him to come out on a date. The fuck? Yeah man, I'm totally gonna go out with you after you just wished death upon me. Earlier, Bernie said he was gonna give Nico Bryce's old car, so I go over there to check it out. Holy shit.
Thank you, Bryce Dawkins. I hope the cash for this didn't come out of city funds.
Showing up at Lord Chick's place, she gets into the car and introduces herself as Kiki Jenkins. She immediately critiques the car, saying Nico must really be struggling. Struggling? This thing is a multi-million-dollar sports car. The only thing someone with a car like this would struggle to do is get out of bed in the morning. We head to the Superstar Cafe for a meal, where she keeps making clingy remarks, so I quickly take Kiki back to her place and get her number, so we can go out again sometime.
Well, maybe I'll take you out again.
Tearing up the streets of my brand new Infernus, I check in on Derek at the park. He's having the time of his life, pinging off his snotbox on cocaine. He mentions a guy named Aiden O'Malley, who's being transported from Varsity Heights Police Station to the Alderney State Correctional Facility. Derek's eyes light up like searchlights as he stares a hole through Nico, telling him that Aiden's been ratting on him to the police, hoping it'll clear up his name, and asks him to do one last favor by killing Aiden before he can make it over to the bacon factory. Leaving the park, Packy calls, saying that he's going to help deal with Aiden also, providing a truck which he's parked behind the Tinkle building that'll be able to block the road where they'll ambush the convoy, bringing Aiden from police custody, then killing him later as to not make it seem like Derek orchestrated his murder. Picking up the truck and blocking the road, in comes the convoy, so me and Packy take it over.
I'm dropping one. You handle these boys.
Once in the van, I utilize my evasive driving skills, easily losing the police. I'm then prompted to ditch the van across the other side of Alderney, despite the fact right here would be a perfect place to do away with Aiden. Driving all the way back into the heart of the city, somehow not getting spotted by a single police officer despite the erratic driving. We dump the van outside ammunition and collect a new car, driving all the way back up to where I was just at earlier. What was even the point of doing all that? At the cliffs, Aiden starts celebrating his newfound freedom, asking Packy who the person was that decided to bust him from the clink. Upon telling him it was Derek, Aiden is dumbfounded, as he was the person that sent him there in the first place. Packy tells Nico to deal with him, then takes off in the car, abandoning me in the middle of nowhere. What the fuck, Packy? You know what? I'm just gonna let Aiden go. Be free! Retreating to the safe house, I change into a different suit and head out onto the street, getting a message from Francis saying he desperately needs to meet me in Castle Gardens. As a guy in a sports car spots my new threads and offers his car up to me, so I graciously accept it. Driving about Alderney, I come by a guy standing in an alleyway at 11 PM in the rain with a duffel bag at his side, frantically looking about. Approaching the guy, he tells Nico some extremely thought-provoking questions that'd have scientists scratching their heads for thousands of years. He then introduces himself as Eddie Lowe and asks if Nico could cart him down to the docks, offering to pay, making Nico reluctantly agree. On the journey over, Eddie asks a boatload of strange questions, giving off some real serial killer kind of vibes. Once at the docks, Eddie tells Nico to hang tight while he goes to drop the kids off, grabbing the duffel bag, then tossing it into the water. He quickly scurries back to the car and asks Nico to drop him at his new hunting ground outside Diner 60 in Westminster. Dropping him there, he hastily boots that creep out of the car. I tell you what, if I ever come by that guy again, I'm gonna hit him with a nuclear overhand and send his head flying into the moon. Heading over to Castle Gardens to see the nagging Francis. He comes skidding in, mad that Nico didn't tell him his brother Derek had returned from Ireland. Francis explains his deep-seated hatred for his brother to Nico, stating that before he left for the homeland, he borrowed $9.27 from Francis and never paid him back. Oh, and he's also kind of a police informant. Apparently Derek's intending to speak with a journalist about his family, which might be the biggest lie I've ever heard in my entire life. All the guy does is stare at the bottom of a bottle and ingest drugs. You really think he'd have the composure to be able to do a tell-all? Francis says he's gonna meet Derek at the Courtyard Park in Lancet, demanding that Nico kill his brother, saying that he'll throw him in jail if he doesn't follow through. Smug cunt. Finishing our meeting, Derek calls, telling Nico that he's going to see Francis at the park and asks if Nico can watch his back. Once at the park, Nico calls Francis, who instructs him to use the window cleaning platform attached to a building adjacent of the park to reach the rooftop and shoot Derek. On the rooftop, I remember how Francis has a tendency to have short arms and long pockets, so I call his phone and make him sweeten the deal. But I'm still undecided. I really like Derek, but Francis is just a dickhead with money, so I fire a rocket and let fate do its thing. Speeding away from the scene, I get a call from Derek, who ultimately survived. He thanks Nico for helping out, completely disregarding the fact I fired a rocket directly at him too. Moseying about for a bit, I get a call from Packy, who fills Nico in about the arrest of Gerald and the death of his brother Francis. How horrible! Francis was a model citizen and someone everyone should aspire to be. Whether it be his ruthless blackmailing or his corrupt police work, everyone should be taking notes. Packy asks Nico to swing by the church in Suffolk, where they're holding his funeral, so he tells Packy he'll be there soon. Kate calls shortly after, where she bags on Francis, as no one in the family really liked him, due to his diverging path with the rest of the family. Just before I pull into the church, I light a candle for Francis as a show of respect, then walk into the holy house, where Nico sits down next to Derek. Outside, the procession begins as all the people attending the funeral pour out onto the street. Nico walks over to Kate, comforting her over the death of her brother, despite the fact she literally just told him minutes earlier she doesn't care one bit. Just as everything was going perfectly, some Albanians come swarming in, mad they weren't invited to the funeral. Oh, and because Gerald ruined their alliance with the Enchiladas. They take out their guns and begin shooting at everyone, so I pull out an RPG from my back pocket, blowing up 3 Albanian sedans, and light myself on fire as a show of strength. Noticing a break in the Albanians' offensive, Nico and Packy quickly hop in the hearse and speed off to Colony Island Cemetery to put Francis in the ground, while being tailed by more Albanian hoods. Fending them off, they arrive at the cemetery, finally putting Francis to rest. Kate thanks Nico for showing up to the funeral, given his rebellious nature to the law, and asks him to call her sometime. I think I am being too hard on her. She'll probably drop Kiki after our next date. Anyway, the McCrearys gather into the procession cars and take off away from the cemetery. Man, this entire family is crazy. One dead at the hands of another brother with a crippling drug addiction. Another one tossed into jail for who knows what for. And the last one is just a common crook. Hanging back, I check out Francis's grave, making sure to leave some flowers. Hang on. What was that sound? Get up, cuz! What the? Who are you guys? Who are we? Cuz, you fully know who we are. Better jog that memory then, bro. We're your worst nightmare. Mate, you are 2 of the most random looking blokes I've ever seen in my entire life. Can you make it a bit easier? Oi, go get that thing that'll jog his memory. Recognize us now, bro? Oh, you're the guys I run over with my car all the time. Now it makes sense. You've been fucking with the wrong vendors, you wig. Me and Hamza here. Oh my god, Gonzo, you fucking dropkick. Just tell him my name. Wanna tell him where I live too? Sure thing, bro. He lives on Privateer Road by Flatfish Place in Oh my god, you're the dumbest Kiwi ever, cuz. Hey, bro. Oh yeah, you got evicted, didn't ya? Now you live at your mum's workplace in Tudor on the corner of Tinderbox and Just tell him my mum's a stripper too then, you fucking spastic. Yes, bro. I've been before. She gave me the employee discount. Oh my god, Gonzo, I'm gonna fold you up like a chair, I swear to god, cuz. He's already sitting on the chair, bro. How you gonna fold it? Not the chair, you flathead stooge. You gotta take a chill pill, bro. Don't ever go on job with me again, cuz. I'm gonna bash your idiot head in, cuz. Do the whole world a favour. You can try, bro. Get off me, Gonzo. Now it's your turn, mate. I'm still tied up here. Good stuff, guys. Hey, where do you think you're going? Calm down, bro. Ugh. Let's see what you've got. Ah, a burner phone. Guess I just wait for a phone call from the head honcho. Well, you guys have fun. Thanks for the car. You know what? I could really use something to eat right now. Maybe some burger shot. Park it up here. Go inside. Burger. Hang on. What's happening outside?
The audacity of people. This is disabled parking. Get a move on.
What you want, mate?
Where's your disability sticker? You can't park there without it.
There's another 2 parking spots either side, man. Just park in one of them.
No. You just don't get it. You don't get to make the rules. Move your car now.
Mate, just pull in and shut up.
Show some respect to your elders. Both my feet are broken. My back has spurs. My front teeth are wonky. My toe fell off on the drive over. And my elbows and knees swap places.
Oh, well, boo-hoo, mate. Doesn't mean you own the entire parking lot. Bugger off somewhere else, why don't you?
Don't you know who I am, mate? I am the fucking Davy McPherson. So you better not fuck around.
Who the fuck is Davy McPherson?
I've had it with everyone. I'm the 14-time competitive eating champion. The one.
About time this phone rung. Have you and Gonzo got it sorted, Hamza? Are we gonna have to deal with this bloke anymore? Yeah, cuz fully smashed him up. You alright, Hamza? You sound... Oi! Calm it down out there. I'm on the fucking phone. You sound a bit sick. You alright? Yeah, mate. I'm alright. Just a bit stuffy. Righto. Pop over to the shipyard behind the E-Cola building, mate. I've got some work for you. Sure thing, mate. See you soon. Fucking douchebag. Reckon this is the spot that guy was talking about. So anyway, moral of the story. Don't tell Jamaica Joe that you'd like to get your hair cut by another barber. What the fuck does that have to do with anything? We were talking about going on a fishing trip. Oh yeah, my bad. Now, how to get inside without being spotted? Here we are. Perfect. What's even the point of this ladder? Well, there's only one way down. Did you hear that? Someone's on the roof. Get him! Everyone, we're under attack. Quick, run single file straight into the guy so he can shoot you 500 times. Hey, you're the guy I sent Hamza and Gonzo after. You killed him? No. They sorted each other out. Fucking knew this would happen. Couple of useless stooges. Whatever, mate. Now you're gonna answer some questions. Holy shit. What is that behind you? Where? No idea what you're talking about. There's nothing even... What the fuck? My leg! Get up, man. You're fine. Everything's going dark. I'm slipping away. This is it, isn't it? Come on, drama queen. Holy shit. Hang on. Let me get more comfortable. Oh, I'm dying. It's so painful. The light. I'm going towards it. Come on, mate. You're taking the piss. Just get up. Fuck's sakes. You're no fun at all. Now, who are you? I am. What is it, Wazza? I'm a little busy right now. Yeah, mate. We'll sort it out later. Cheers. Alright, where were we? What's your name? I am the Samson Humphries. And I... Hey, what's that back there? Where? Can you be a little bit more specific? There's nothing even... Hey! You motherfucker. Don't think you won't see me again! Being given the slip by my arch enemy, I get a call from Gerald, who's locked up at the Alderney State Correctional Facility. He says he's put Nico on the visitors list and would like if he could swing by for a chat. With no cars in sight, I put my 16 years as a certified forklift driver to use and trudge on down to the prison. Sitting across from Gerald, he talks briefly about the death of his brother and how painful it is to be carrying on without him. But lucky for Gerald, he sat across from the most trustworthy person in Liberty City. He tells Nico to give Packy a ring to help out with his spiritual awakening or some shit that he's going through after his incarceration. Calling Packy outside, he fills Nico in about Gerald's spiritual journey, which entails kidnapping a mafia don's daughter and holding her for ransom. The girl's named Gracie, and she's selling her car online. Packy says to get her information from the listing website and to set up a test drive, which will allow a window to kidnap her. Making it to twat, I take her phone number from the listing and organize a time to meet, coincidentally already being outside her house. Meeting with Gracie, she begins flirting with Nico, telling him to take the car for a cruise about the coast. All the while, she's sweet-talking Nico, even inviting him out on the town with her. You know what? She's been really nice to me during this drive. I'm not gonna kidnap her. Instead, I'm gonna ask her to come on a vacation with me. Popping the question, she's enthralled, saying,
Oh my fucking god, you fucking pervert!
She's so excited that she goes to phone her family to tell them the good news.
Try to call him without the phone.
Gracie frequently grabs at the wheel, hardly being able to contain her excitement, so Nico tells her to calm down.
Calm the fuck down, or little birdies will be eating your brains off the dashboard tomorrow morning.
Unable to contain herself, Nico takes it upon himself to calm her down.
Shut up! Peace at last.
Then I remember, Nico doesn't have a visa, which makes leaving the country impossible, so I default back to the old plan of kidnapping her. Dropping Gracie to Gordon, he instructs an associate named Stevie to dump Gracie's car. After all that effort I went through to get that Feltzer, as if I'm letting this Stevie character have it. Having the car fixed up and resprayed a nicer colour, I go to Pegorino's, where his wife is outside smoking a cigarette, positive as always. Inside the house, Anthony is waiting at attention, and yells out to Pegorino, who appreciates his patronage. He pulls Nico into his office, furious with the Pavanos for the stunt they pulled at their last meet at the chemical plant. He's heard a few of them are hanging about a diner in Acta, and would like if Nico could chase them back to their place and waste a lot of them. Stealing Jimmy's car, I start driving to the diner, passing by the luckiest policeman on the force, then cruise through the peaceful streets of Liberty City. At the diner, the Pavano Goombas outside see Nico and instantly recognize him as Pegorino's associate, so they take off, causing as much fuss as possible on the way. Repossessing a guy's motorbike, I tune into the radio for a bit, hearing about a decapitated jogger that was found by the ferry terminal, the same place where I took Eddie Lowe to drop off that duffel bag. Well, maybe he is a psycho killer after all. Following them over to the erotic car showroom, I continue the trend of taking their cars off the market. Dealing with the last thug, I take the bike to get resprayed, lining my lungs with paint in the process. I phone Kiki to see if she'd like to go on a date. She accepts, so I head to her place, but just like every other time I'm about to go out on a date, I get a call from Kate regarding Roman's wedding. She says she's received a wedding invitation, overjoyed that Nico wanted her to come along. Just as I pull into Kiki's, I get a call from the ULP agent, asking that I go meet with John Gravelli, the leader of the Gambetti crime family, that may be able to get a hold of Darko Brevic. Hanging up the phone, out comes Kiki, who immediately lampoons my looks, then starts talking about how she cares for others, like she didn't just insult me to my face for no reason. We go get something to eat, but the entire time I'm in there eating my $4 sandwich, I have a sour taste in my mouth from the comments she made earlier. Outside, Kiki stares into my soul, attempting to give me PTSD, so I break up with her. Grabbing another dirt bike, I get a call from Packy, who's caught wind of the vacation I was planning to go on with Gracie. He's changed his mind, and would like if Nico followed through with those plans, instructing him to take a few pictures of Gracie so she can get a passport. Heading back into Alderney, I arrive at the place where Gracie's being held, and get her to pose for some pictures. Sending Packy the pictures, I also throw in one of Gordon, causing him to immediately call off any plans of a vacation. All the while, Gordon keeps flapping his gums about some stupid ass fries, so I destroy his only means of entertainment while he watches over Gracie. Shortly after, I get a message from Kiki, saying she's breaking up with me, like I didn't already make myself pretty clear with the barrel of my shotgun and the 8 pellets that come out of it. Just before I can go see Gravelli, I get a surprise call from little Jacob. He wants to go play some darts, so I tell him I'll be over once I've freshened up. Making my way to the Russian store, Ray calls, once again expecting me to kiss his feet and polish his shoes, demanding that I retrieve the diamonds from Gay Tony, so Nico hangs up on him. Chucking on some new threads, I go see Jacob, who's mad I showed up 2 minutes late. Jacob and Nico start having a good chat on their way to the Irish bar for some darts. Nico suggests they should play some human darts instead. Jacob has no idea what that is, so Nico demonstrates it to him. How convenient. The hospital. This is where John Gravelli is. At his ward, Nico's led in by Gravelli's protector. He's bedridden and knocking at death's door. He says the ULP agent told him quite a bit about Nico and the man that he's been searching for, telling him that if he's able to help him with a few jobs, he might be able to snatch the man that he's been searching for after all these years. He wants Nico to escort a friend of his, who's supposed to be giving a speech at the city hall, regarding the Russian organized crime wave sweeping Liberty City, expecting there to be Russian resistance on the way there. Directing him over to the convoy at Grand Eastern Terminal on Bismarck. Getting a terrible car, I drive into Algonquin while using an even worse camera and meet with the convoy. I pick up the VIP with the most politician sounding name ever, Bobby Jefferson. Following the leading car, we're detoured off course as a road along the route was closed, backing us onto another road that's closed off where there are no works being done. It's an ambush. Russians come swarming out, so I protect Bobby from the invading Russians.
Up on the roof.
Clearing out the ambush, we speed off, but are pursued by more Russians, so I waste them too. After dealing with them all, a security guard outside City Hall defects to the other side and begins shooting at me and Bobby, despite the fact he works for the government. Nice cover, bro. I could hardly even see ya. I run Bobby Jefferson over the street so he can go on his racial tirade. Coming by a Banshee, I pull the driver out and go to drive off, but they quickly rip me out and try to have a fist fight, but I don't hit women, so I let her get ran over by a car instead. Driving back to the hospital, I run inside to meet with Gravelli again. He says they've located Darko Brevic in Bucharest, Romania, and he'll be en route to Liberty City soon. He goes on to mention a Korean guy named Kim has brought counterfeit money into Liberty City. The same Kim I helped Derek escort into harbour with the exact same counterfeit money. Mr. Gravelli wants Nico to go try out their new prawn cracker and curry sauce combo meal and deal with Kim on behalf of the ULP agent. He says he can be found at Mr. Fuchs' rice box in Alderney City. Getting another Banshee, Brucey calls, asking Nico to come out to eat, but he's already going to get Korean, so the idea is shut down. Arriving to the restaurant, I walk in and ask to be seated at a table. The host tells me they're all booked out, but the place is empty as a desert, so I ask for a reservation. Oh look, an opening. Going into the dining room, a group of Koreans come out, handing me menus and looking to have me seated. CCTV catches Nico demanding to know where Kim has scurried off to. The manager folds, saying Kim fled out the back door, so Nico lets him go free. Making a dash for the kitchen, Kim goes running out the back door, down a ladder, and to the parking lot. Police arrive and spot Kim loitering in a strictly no loitering zone, so they chuck him in handcuffs and take him down to the station. Going to see the fixer, I spot a guy smoking a cigarette, so I discuss with him the dangers of smoking. But before I can convince him to quit, he dies of a spontaneous cancer metastasis. Picking up the payphone, the fixer tells me there's a limo going about Alderney City, containing a guy that once wasted 38 seconds of his life 12 years ago. He says he was at the butcher's one time. The guy had ticket number 24, whilst the fixer had number 23, but the other guy went first, causing a minor inconvenience that he still hasn't forgotten to this day. Tracking down the limo, I deal with the two tailing SUVs. Then chase up the limousine and blow it up. After telling the fixer the time waster is no more, I come by Eddie Lowe. Him and Nico share a friendly introduction. Eddie starts asking Nico if he likes to be spanked, so Nico calls him lame, making him throw a fit. He pulls a knife on Nico, attempting to kill him. Then it occurs to me what I said last time I saw him. If I ever come by that guy again, I'm gonna hit him with a nuclear overhand and send his head flying into the moon. Catching up with Phil at Hamza's mum's workplace, Nico's back outside just as quick as he came inside. Phil and Nico gossip like a pair of teenage girls about that slimeball Ray. Just as someone comes running outside, telling Phil Pegorino called regarding a delivery at the docks. Left with no other choice, he has to trust Nico to tag along on the job. Heading to pick up his truck, Phil continues on his conspiracy theorist skepticism of helicopters, wiretaps, and cameras, thinking he's being watched around every corner. What makes him think the police would be tuned into whatever he's doing? He doesn't commit any crimes. Phil lets Nico know about the details of the job. They are heading to the boatyard on Charge Island to boost some gear from some Russians. And that's about it. He doesn't really say much else besides raise an untrustworthy snake. Getting in the van, we drive over to Charge Island, getting the car washed along the way. We park in front of the boatyard, so a guy with a cinder block for a head comes walking over, who gets wise and demands us out of the truck. So Phil blows his shit smooth off.
Looks like we're gonna have to do this the old-fashioned way. Shoot these commies!
Coming out back, we reach some speedboats that still haven't been unloaded since their arrival from Vice City. So we abandon Phil's truck and take off with the boats, being pursued by the weakest tail of all time. I throw a couple of gift bags their way, causing them to stop, allowing us to drop the gear off. Meeting with the always hospitable Pegorino, he greets Nico by shoving a shotgun in his face, mad at him for seemingly no reason. Jimmy's anger is really directed at his bodyguard Anthony, and the fact he's turned states, being caught with a wire. Pegorino, with the fury of 1,000 suns, rang up Anthony and consumed his soul through the phone, damning him to a hospital bed in Leftwood, where he only continues to live due to the ventilator he's strung up to, and the police keeping a keen eye over him. The authorities, knowing how priceless this information is, have decided to hold him at the hospital literally across the fucking road from Pegorino's house. They may as well erect a huge sign saying, "Police informant here." Waltzing into the hospital, I'm not immediately blown into 100 pieces by the police. Instead, I'm offered a job by the lady at reception, directing me into the locker room, where my uniform is waiting for me. Chucking on my scrubs, stethoscope, and ID card, she hands Nico a package that needs to be delivered to Anthony's room, telling him to be wary of the police at the end of the hall. Walking into his ward, Nico dismisses the policeman in the corner of his room and has a brief chat with Anthony, who expresses dissatisfaction with his ventilator, claiming he's lightheaded as it's not providing enough oxygen. So I unplug it completely, then deliver his parcel. Running outside and hopping into Pegorino's car, I show him what a dependable and loyal servant I am by flipping his car onto its roof and leaving it there for him to deal with later. Taking over this Sabre, I respray it and lose the police, then drive into the southern part of Alderney. I get the bright idea to ask Kate out on a date, since I broke things off with Kiki. In Kate's always chip away, she accepts my invitation. Seeing as I'm yet to make use of Roman's cab service, I phone him up and ask to have a cab sent my way. Up pulls a black SUV containing Roman's star driver, Mohammed.
Mohammed, what the fuck? Oh, Miss Weinstock.
Upon telling him where I'm going, he jumps for joy. Mohammed becomes self-conscious after realizing Nico's going out on a date, so he starts gloating about how much pussy he gets. Looks like someone's insecure about their sexuality. If you're gay, bro, that's okay, but there's no reason to be putting on this charade. At Kate's, Mohammed's thankful for my company and bids me farewell. So I give him something to remember me by. Picking up the love of my life, I set an example by stealing some random dude's car, using it to pop on down to the local for some midday drinks. Parking around back, we gallivant in and party down to the hottest Gaelic licks of 1859. Like all successful drunks, my drinking habit doesn't just come with a hangover. It also opens my mind's eye, allowing me to bend reality. Continuing the trend of making miracles happen, I walk around back to find the same Banshee I parked here ages ago has finally returned to me. Today might be the best day of my life. Nothing could ruin... You fucking asshole! Suppose I should pop over and see Phil in Alderney. Hey, I know you. No you don't. Yes I do. You're that guy from the dock. Holy fuck, what's that coming this way? Yeah, I'm not falling for that shit. You must think I'm some kind of retard. Being given the slip again, I make it to Phil's pop-up office. He's no nonsense, meeting Nico at the front on a tangent about some helicopters, and spurring him back into his car, asking to be driven down to the old Sprunk factory near Port Tudor, filling him in the meantime. Phil says there's a fat Italian guy named Charlie, nicknamed Fat Charlie. Genius, right? He's caught wind of, no, not food, of the cocaine Phil and Nico have boosted from the Russians at the boatyard. He intends to fly out of Alderney and snitch on the Pegorinos to the commission, when he could easily just send a text or ring them up. Phil would like if Nico could go into the factory and take down Chubby Charlie and his Ancelotti cronies before he's able to escape. Arriving outside the derelict factory, Phil tells Nico he can either waltz in through the front door or go in through an underground tunnel and catch them off guard. Phil gives me a taste of my own medicine by boosting me out of my own car and driving away. Chasing after it, Phil does some Houdini shit, disappearing behind a post, but leaves the car behind. Attempting to get into it, he's laid a curse on it or something, binding the car to his soul, making it impossible to get into. So once again, the Banshee's been lost. Call me crazy, but why doesn't Nico just jump over the door and hop into the driver's seat? Acting like I didn't just fail the mission, I take the underground tunnel into the factory, killing the first two at the door, and starting to chubby chase Charlie as he jumps out the window nearby, running full sprint for the rooftop, trying to have his nickname changed to Skinny Charlie. Climbing up the ladder, a guy atop yells out for a doctor, claiming to have breathing problems. So I give him CPR, saving his life. The helicopter arrives, so athletic Charlie leaps over and grabs onto the skids below, making it extremely easy to change his nickname to Dead Charlie. After clipping the helicopter's wings, I scale down the building and spot something incredible in the distance. Well. Don't mind if I do. Going inside, I'm approached by Hamza's girl boss mother. She spots Nico dressed from head to toe in doctor scrubs and offers him a freebie as a goodwill gesture for serving the community, making him tail behind her into a back room where she starts demonstrating what a failure she is. She finishes cutting the rug and walks out. Something seems off, so I check my wallet.
What? She took $50?
Back at Phil's office, he's talking to Pegorino's wife. Nico says nothing about it, but Phil feels compelled to plead his case, almost like he's having a secret affair going on with his wife or something. Anyway, they cut the shit and head out over to the old mansion in Westdyke, where the triad heroin was stashed. Along the way, they talk about Phil's lovely ex-wife and how she ruined his life by taking everything he had away from him, and that whiny snake in the grass Ray, who keeps complaining about Phil behind his back. At the mansion, Phil and Nico meet up with Frankie, who says that there hasn't been a soul out there as long as the gear's been stashed. The second those words leave his mouth, 3 police cruisers arrive. It's a bust. Phil tells Nico to hop in the other car and to follow him about. Leaving the mansion, Frankie starts trauma dumping about his life. According to him, he's the busiest person on planet Earth. Over the last week, he's somehow been able to watch over the heroin, support his sickly mother, get married, and put his sister through college. Going around the Globe Oil warehouse, a police car explodes nearby the car, causing it to catch fire. Calling Phil, Nico tells him that he lost the heroin, despite the fact it's still in the car with him. All you've got to do is park the car up, grab the stuff. Parking up with Phil in an alley, he tells the pair to grab the candy from the boot of the car and to follow him across the street to where the getaway van is, all the while being shot at by police. Taking the van, I attempt to shake the police, once again having to endure Frankie's life story like I give a single fuck. Losing the police, I drop Phil and Frankie behind the pizza shop, bidding them farewell. Going for a relaxing drive, I get a message from Ray, asking me to talk about him like he's hot shit at the meet happening at Pegorino's house, and in return, he'll do absolutely nothing for me. I'd rather have a knife stuck in my back than have that greedy, self-centered wannabe Tony Soprano backing me up. In the war room, Pegorino, Ray, and Phil are discussing the situation. At any and every opportunity, Ray kisses Pegorino's ass, reminds people who he is, and spreads fugazi rumors. Jimmy dismisses Ray and talks to Nico about the situation. He values Phil's reliability and trust, but he just can't overlook Ray's ability to make money. He's unable to come to a conclusion, saying he'll phone Nico later once he's made up his mind. After a short while, Pegorino's made his decision. He wants that moron Ray dealt with. Let's go! Finally someone that I want to kill. Stopping off at the meet Ray's at, Nico phones Pegorino, curious as to how he should handle the situation. Pegorino says he'll have Ray and his convoy stop along the way back for petrol, which will make for a perfect opportunity to kill him. He also carries on, saying he's left something special in the trunk of his car that'll aid on the job. What do we have here? At the apartment, I quit my job as a doctor in favor of a much more respected and valued position, the garbage man. Waving down a cab, I take it over to see Gravelli at the hospital. In his ward, the ULP agent is at bedside, where they're discussing the alliance between the Enchiladas and the Russians. The agent says that the Russians have some vans parked up at the grocery warehouse in Albany that he'd like destroyed, saying that once it's sorted, he'll have something special waiting for Nico. Arriving at the spot, I attempt to break a hole in the fence with my bike. Coming back again, I get the bright idea to put my garbage man uniform to use, masquerading as the bin man. Driving the dump truck in, they have no idea at all. This time I just decide to do the thing that works on every other job, killing everyone. Running in, I kill a few Russians and destroy some of their vans. One of them see that I'm destroying their business, so he makes things easier by driving the product over to me. One last guy on the rooftop starts complaining that he isn't dead yet, so I play hot potato with him. Upon destroying the last van, Nico calls Gravelli, letting him know of his success, and at last the favor is returned, as Darko will be soon dropped off in Liberty City. Doing some garbage collection in the meantime, the agent calls, saying that Darko Brevich is finally in Liberty City, where he'll be waiting down by the airport, and the puppeteer-like control the agent has been holding over Nico is finally relinquished, meaning he's a free man. Nico immediately phones Roman, letting him know what's just gone down, telling him that he's coming to pick him up. Making it to Roman, he jumps out in front of the car I'm driving, causing it to catch fire, so we borrow a guy's motorbike instead. On the way there, Nico tells Roman the story for the 57th time. All the while, Roman tells him he should let go of his burden and turn anew. Reaching the airport, the van tosses Darko out and speeds off. Nico grabs a hold of Darko and begins interrogating him, demanding to know why he sold out the group. Darko says a few members of the group, but namely Guran, were involved with the deaths of his own friends, so he saw it as getting revenge, plus a measly $1,000, which helped feed his heroin addiction. Nico is mad at hearing how insignificant the sum was, acting as if he hasn't done the exact same thing for even less. Darko falls to his knees and pleads that Nico ends his life, while Roman attempts to drag him away. Before doing anything, I hand Roman my phone, getting him to take a picture so I can savor this moment forever. Walking over to my bike, Darko scurries away, so I let him go free. It's more cathartic knowing that he'll be out there somewhere suffering, alive, than being set free with a quick death. Roman praises Nico for letting go of his grudge and deciding to move on with his life, instead of stooping himself down to Darko's level by killing him. Now unburdened by the past, Nico experiences clarity, realizing that killing Darko would have done nothing for him anyways. Upon reaching Brucey's place, Roman asks Nico to come inside, but he turns it down, saying that he needs some time alone. And what better way to do that than to drive around in a shitty car while listening to jazz fusion. Cruising about, I come by sober Sally. She's going through the ringer, as she hasn't snorted, injected, smoked, or digested any drugs in 5 minutes. She begs and begs and begs that Nico give her some money, offering up the deal for lifetime in exchange. Nico turns her down on account of her drug-addled exterior, instead offering to charter her over to Albany to meet with the dealer to get a quick fix. Hopping in the car, she talks plenty about how she's caught every STD on planet Earth, which makes no sense. She gives off the impression of someone that's responsible in that realm of behavior. Dropping her off, I go check my emails to find an ancient email from Dwayne, asking if we could hang out sometime. No wonder why he's been so cold this entire time. I basically left him on red for 2 months. Hopping to the payphone to see the fixer, he tells me his portfolio manager pulled out all of his equity from this new self-driving car startup moments before the stock blew up. The guy then took it upon himself to buy all his shares at a much lower price, allowing him to rake in once the price is hiked. The fixer is furious and would like if Nico could go kill him and the entire company's board. Reaching the spot he's usually found at, he puts that flashy car to use by bulldozing every car out of the way. The car's technology malfunctions, ejecting the pair from the vehicle, then driving off by itself, parking up and exploding once it's reached its destination. The two of them just stand there dumbfounded, knowing that if word got out about this little hiccup, it'll mean the end of their business, so they call in the cavalry, trying to kill Nico, so I pull out the mincer. The last investor, absolutely bewildered as to what just happened, just stands there, so I try to wake him up. I turn away for a second, and he starts tinkering around with my car, putting in one of them self-driving modules. Hopping into the sports car Bernie gave me, I go and take it for a wash. Don't worry, that'll buff out. I meet with Gerald, who's still under lock and key, sat behind laminated glass inside the prison. Picking up the visitation phone, Gerald says that Gracie's quote-unquote old boyfriend is searching for her. He backflips on the idea of a vacation for the 100th time, asking Nico to finally take her out and over to Algonquin, thus escaping her longing boyfriend. Maybe I'd be better off retiring this thing. Parking the Infernus, I take a more appropriate car over to the safe house. Out comes starving Gordon, who's probably seeing daylight for the first time in 2 weeks with the always jolly Gracie, who's delighted knowing she'll be dumped into the boot. She somehow bites Gordon despite being gagged and facing the opposite direction. Tossing her into the trunk, he takes out her gag, where she expresses her feelings of happiness. Driving off, the enchiladas arrive, attempting to cool our plans of relaxation. They ram and shoot the car, directly where Gracie is sat. I don't know about you, but it looks like they're trying to kill her instead of me. Losing the mafiosos, I make it to the resort, where Packy's waiting out front, looking to bring in the luggage. Stealing back the car Gracie was in, I get a long-awaited call from Dwayne, wanting to go. Picking him up, the pair share their experiences in prison, and do some crash derby about the strip club parking lot. Inside, Dwayne gets straight to business, while I make the mistake of checking my bank account at the ATM, causing the club's ecdysiats to swarm me like hyenas, looking to drain every dollar from my bank account. I approach the bouncer, which for some reason is Rico Verhoeven, asking that he call off the women. Much to his dismay, he flat out refuses, so I pull out my phone and do my best Karen impression by shoving the camera in his face, looking to have it uploaded to my Facebook account later, forcing him to call them off. Going back to Dwayne, he announces himself to everyone.
I'd fuck the shit out of these women if I wasn't a gentleman.
Unable to tolerate the disrespect aimed towards the women, Nico lashes out in protest, thus summoning Rico and the strip club National Guard to keep the place in check. They rush at Dwayne and Nico, attempting to boot the pair out, but they're easily laid out.
Watch yourself, man. We do that now.
Dusting up that kickboxer, a self-respecting lady starts throwing punches at me for no reason, somehow doing better than the pair of bouncers, while Dwayne just stands there looking around. For some reason, she's impervious to melee lock-on, forcing me to break out the most illegal technique in street fighting, the leg kick.
You should have run away from me.
Outside, the bouncer makes it a point to tell us that we're no longer welcome here, despite it being Dwayne's club, so I tell him that there'll be no more trouble from us. Making our way back to Dwayne's apartment, the smoking heap of shit finally breaks down. A couple of concerned police officers stop to see if we need assistance, but Nico tells them that he's got it covered. Making use of that world-famous Slavic engineering, he gets the car running again, and the pair drive off.
Damn, son.
The car breaks down again, but this time, the secret technique can't salvage the car, leading Dwayne to be blown away by the police. Left with no other choice, I decide to escape by jumping into the river below. Oh, fuck. Running across the road, I'm nearly readmitted to hospital due to 2 reckless drivers. The first driver leaves her red car wearing black, whereas the second driver is still sat inside their black car wearing red. So I get the bright idea to have them swap cars to better fit with their outfits. Playing some bowling on the way back to Algonquin, I get a call from Dwayne, who's been discharged from hospital, asking if Nico could come pick him up, when he could very easily just walk home as he's only a few blocks away from the hospital. Obliging him regardless, I arrive outside, finding Dwayne flash stepping like he's in some corny anime. Act your age, dude. You're like 50 years old. Dropping him off, I come by a man on a street corner just down the road. He starts bitching and moaning about his wife, who he believes is having an affair with a friend. He asks Nico to tail him to wherever they go, then take some pictures and send them to him, which will debunk his suspicions. The pair come down from the man's loft, hop in a car, and drive to the Superstar Cafe. Following them in, I go take those pictures for Jeff. Going to the prison for what'll likely be the last time. Gerald says he won't be making it out anytime soon, but at last an exchange has been organized between the Enchiladas and the McCrearys, thus ending any prospect of a holiday. Bidding Gerald farewell for good and heading outside, I telepathically receive information from Packy regarding the job at hand. Arriving to the safe house neighboring Pain Spray, then getting into the car with Packy and Gracie, she immediately pokes fun at my appearance. So I go around the corner to the motor store, leaving her strung up inside the car in broad daylight for everyone to see. Smartening up, I get back in the car to listen to Gracie's constructive criticisms regarding my outfit. Making it to Charge Island, Nico and Packy are greeted by Gay Tony and his bodyguard Luis, who's still defying all odds by somehow being alive. The 2 of them demand for Gracie's release, but Packy wants the gear first. And what gear might that be? The diamonds, of course. Yes, the same diamonds from the platypus, the same ones from Ray, and now the diamonds that are in the hands of Luis. Him being the only one with a brain, thinks up the bright idea that they should just put the stuff in the middle, then have Gracie be walked over, then they'll walk back while Nico and Packy advance to the loot. Luis hands Tony the diamonds, where he drops them on the ground. Packy releases Gracie, who starts whimpering, knowing that any future prospect of a holiday with Nico is gone. Once she's reached them, they begin backing away to leave. Suddenly, a car comes speeding in. It's that Russian dickhead Bulgarin. He marvels at the fact Nico's about whenever something's stolen from him, claiming that Gay Tony stole the diamonds from him in the first place. Sicking his henchmen onto the pair, who run off with the diamonds. Clearing out the group by the clarifiers, Packy and Nico scale the nearby catwalk, killing more of Bulgarin's men in the process. Dealing with that group, 3 sedans come speeding in, yelling out that they purposely parked like this so I can blow them up all with one grenade. Catching up with the thug that snatched the diamonds, Packy says he'll spare him as long as he hands the stuff over. But he knows doing that would just guarantee a slower, more painful death from Bulgarin himself, so he decides to toss them onto a moving truck, sealing his fate. After all that effort, we lost the girl, and the diamonds, and Gerald's still in jail. I'd hate to be him right now. Getting a car, I drive Packy back to his place, ending the mission.
Well, Nico, that was a whole lot of effort for no fucking reward.
Carrying on, I call Roman and Jacob to see if they'd like to do anything, but I'm ignored by both of them. Being snubbed by my day ones, I drive through Duke's Boulevard, coming past a lady of questionable morality, exclaiming she's smoking hot. As soon as she gets in, Pegorino rings, pleading that Nico comes over to his club in Alderney. Yeah, whatever dude, I've got more important stuff going on right now. The girl carries on, talking about how hot she is, causing herself and the car to catch fire. She'll be fine. Running across the road, Nico does some long jump, attempting to get out of the way of an incoming car. The girl driving, impressed by his athletics, graciously gives him her car. So I put it to good use by flipping it onto its roof, about 100 meters down the road. A guy angered that I've blocked up the road, charges at me, demanding to know what's going on. So I explain the situation, using a language everyone can understand. A Russian sees me running down the street, somehow mistaking it for a run club, despite it only being Nico, and tags along behind, following every step and stride, even if it means running head on into traffic.
Jogging to the train platform, the club gathers traction as more wannabe athletes show up. They follow me onto the train tracks, where I hurdle over a barrier onto a roof nearby. The joggers look at me as if I've committed all 8 deadly sins by merely demonstrating something that's not running. Hopping off the rooftop, the police pursue me for breaking the sanctity of run club etiquette, but they are no match for my speed. Losing the police, I grab a car, then come by Mel, the drunkard at Comrade's bar, all the way back when Vlad was still alive and kicking. Mel recognizes Nico immediately, telling him he has a renewed outlook after giving up all the negative facets of his life, but he still has some tethers that are really keeping him from relinquishing that part of his life. He asked Nico to tag along to see a guy he owes money to, saying he might be a bit angry. Surely whatever he did can't be that bad. After all, he was just some lousy drunk. Following along, I take Mel to the meet. Him and Nico waltz on in. Turns out, it was more than just money. He also threw his TV out the window and pissed all over his couch, causing the landlord to boot him out onto the street. I'm not gonna lie, Mel, but you're on your own with this one. I'd do the same thing too in their situation. Getting back in the car, Mel bolts away, so his former friends sway their attention over to me, shooting at the car, and as ill-equipped as I am, I decide to run them over, squashing 2 of them. It says the mission's been failed because I lost Mel. From what I recall, Mel was the one who went and got himself lost, putting the last guy into the hydraulic press. I drive over to Old... Waking up at the hospital and commandeering another car. Hang on, is that Jeremy fuck Brian Meach? Don't think I forgot what you did. I get a nice call from Dimitri, who's saddened by the fact he didn't find my corpse at the treatment plant, and the diamonds were nowhere to be found. He says he'll have his one day, vowing to cut Nico's tongue from his mouth. At the gentleman's club, Pegorino comes in whining about his legal troubles, and the fact he's not on the commission yet. Pegorino says he has a job, wanting Nico to go sell that heroin to Dmitry Raskolov's crew, but due to their strained history, Nico shuts it down. Jimmy tries to sway him back with a fat wad of cash, claiming that Dmitry doesn't hold grudges, despite the fact he's tried to kill Nico on multiple occasions, and merely 2 minutes ago, he was on the phone saying he was going to kill him. Fed up with Nico's refusal of orders, Pegorino lashes out.
Do it, or you and me are gonna have a problem.
Leaving the club, Nico phones materialistic Roman for advice, who of course wants him to take the deal, letting it slip that Dmitry is moored on the boat that Nico came into the city in, which opens up the option to kill him instead. Hanging up, Nico phones Kate asking for advice, where she says he shouldn't work with him, going as far as saying she'll lose all respect for Nico if he backflips on his ideals. Seeing as I need at least some sort of revenge after letting Darko go free, I decide to go kill that pompous asshole. Arriving at the boat, I kill a few by the gangway, then charge into the cafeteria. Past the cabins. Don't know if you want to be hanging out in that room, man. Onto the upper decks. And into the bridge. Pulling a lever inside, the cargo hold opens up, revealing where Dimitri's been hiding out. Jumping into the hold, Nico kills Dimitri's goons, then confronts him for the final time. Dmitry explains the reason why he betrayed Nico all that time ago was because he pushed him down the stairs. Is that it? Really? He starts begging for his life like a bitch, so I separate him from existence. Off the boat, I phone everyone in my contacts, hoping to celebrate this monumentous occasion, but no one picks up the phone. Waiting hours and hours for a reply, no one calls back. Coming to, Roman calls, rubbing in his marriage while I'm the loneliest person on planet Earth, saying to smarten up, as Nico's his best man. Buying a suit at Perseus, Nico calls Kate, telling her how things went with Dmitry. She says how proud she is of Nico. So in reply, he asks if she's coming to the wedding. Kate says she is, and asks Nico to come pick her up. So I buy a car from the Gruddy dealership and drive over to her Ma's place. Picking her up and taking off, the pair talk about Nico's troubled past. He says he's closing that chapter of his life and hopes to have Kate there at his side going forward, saying he'll protect her no matter what. What a romantic. Meeting with the wedding party, everyone heads inside, where Roman finally puts a ring on that finger. Everyone pours out onto the street, celebrating the couple's newfound unity, where a car pulls up out front with an angry Italian man inside. Relax, not that angry. Like every other thing Pegorino does, he fucks it up by shooting Kate instead of Nico, then hiding away like the pussy he is. Everybody rushes over to check on Kate, but nothing can be done, as she's already dead. So Roman and Jacob tell Nico he should hightail it out of there before more people show up. Now you know shit's serious because he's back in his OG getup. Nico takes a brief moment to come to terms with his reality, then checks his phone, seeing that Jacob's searching for Pegorino, and he'll hit him up once he has a lead. In the meantime, I zip over to the Fixers for a job, hoping to let out some of that pent-up rage. He says there's a group of bikies hanging out around the correctional facility. He says the group a long time ago tied his shoelaces together while he was sat somewhere waiting. He then stood up and went to walk down some stairs, but due to that bind, he fell all the way down, embarrassing himself in front of everyone. Hopping on a bike, I arrived to the group, killed. You know what? Why am I doing all this fancy shit? I'm literally a fucking god. Dropping all of Hiroshima on the crew, Jacob rings, saying he's caught up to a runaround boy in Alderney that's in Pegorino's crew, and is waiting for Nico to arrive before pursuing them. Making my way over, I crash into the minion's car that's seemingly super glued to the ground. Hopping into the car with Jacob, Roman's also there for some reason. Out comes the Mafia man, spotting Nico, so they drive away, hoping to shake him along the way back. Roman starts complaining about what's happening, despite the fact he literally never had to tag along, even saying that I'm driving into oncoming traffic while being on the correct side of the road. The thug speeds off-road, and over to the old casino in northern Alderney, where Pegorino was posted up. Nico parks the seemingly impervious car, using it for cover, alongside Jacob and Roman, where he tells them to leave, as it's his business to deal with, clearing the outside and inside. I rush into the back, finding Pegorino, who blames Nico for Kate's death, completely disregarding his dogshit aim, and runs for the roof. Trying to escape, he climbs down a ladder and onto the ground, where he's apparently wearing 4,000 layers of Kevlar. Being seemingly invincible, he runs to a boat then speeds off, leaving me with a motorbike. Following him along the shore, a helicopter arrives. It's Roman and Jacob. They yell out to Nico, telling him to use the ramp to climb onto the helicopter. No stress. What the fuck, guys? Why not wait for me, you impatient fucks? If Pegorino is going to be the man of steel, then I am too. For fuck's sake. Fuck you! Getting onto the helicopter, we chase after him, shooting and damaging the boat. In retaliation, Pegorino hits the helicopter with a rocket, causing it to spin out. The both of us land on Happiness Island, looking to make a last stand, where I'm confronted by a familiar face. What the fuck are you doing here? I could say the same thing to you. I'm here to deal with Jimmy P. Really? Me too. He undermined my vendor business by getting in leagues with that pizza parlor in Alderney. Seriously? Well, what about this? Why don't we squash our beef and go deal with that spastic ourselves? You know what? That's a fucking good idea. Teaming up with Samson, him and Nico rush at Pegorino and his lackeys. They make their truce official, having a celebratory hot dog for their newfound friendship. Leaving La La Land and coming back to reality, the pair rush Pegorino and finish him off. Even while on death's door, Jimmy acts holier than thou. Nico drops a truth nuke by stating the commission always thought of him as a joke.
Thought you were a fat fucking joke.
So he pulls his gun, trying to shoot Nico in the back. Yeah, nice try. Over comes Roman, ecstatic that his cousin's finally free from his life of crime. But Nico says nothing, and instead walks off into the distance. And with that, the game comes to an end. I love playing through this game, as GTA 4 is my favorite game of all time. I'll likely carry on with its DLCs next, and maybe even venture back into it for some unscripted mod videos in the future. Thank you to everyone who watched all the way through. Be sure to like and subscribe for more. Here are my stats from the playthrough. Aren't I so gracious by helping out small business? Leave a dislike if I should be slathered with honey and tied to a tree in the Canadian Rockies. But as always, have a good day and goodbye.